Stay professional now.
We can't hear you in the ceiling.
They can hear you. Look at the green light. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get this started today. Really, really excited to have you all here. Especially those of you who have been through an Ignite before. We have just completely revamped this as of last year, but Nicole, was it all virtual last year? Like a virtual streaming of it? We didn't have it in person, right?
Yep, brand new. Our region did it and it was virtual. So this is our first time having it here.
So we're really, really excited. I'd like to introduce Dan Holt, who is our operating principal, and he's also a regional director, and he is also a big team owner and investor in the Market Center, and Dan of all things. So, Dan.
Hey, that was a pretty good intro. I don't know better how to say it. I appreciate that. So thanks for coming. Ignite is a class that's been around for 5 years, been revamped several times. Here's the really important thing about Ignite. Number one, you're here because you're taking out of your day and you're investing in yourself. Who's done Ignite before?
You were the
Okay, you're outstanding. Why do you do Ignite?
Mindset.
Mindset. What is mindset?
Am I geared up to doing what you need to do to be successful?
Does anybody know what the most important real estate in any market is? What lives right here between your ears, sorry, your ears. What lives right here? The most important real estate you have.
Location, location, location.
Yeah. What else? Why take Ignite a second time? Because gosh, I've done it once.
For me, I'm in a different spot than I was the first time. So what I'm gonna hear today is gonna be completely different than what I
You're
heard
in a
last
different
year.
place. Interesting. What else? That's it. That's it. I thought by noon they might be woke up.
No, this will be it. You gotta throw a couple jokes in there.
Here's my take on why. You ready? Well, whether you're ready or not, you're gonna hear it. I take multiple classes over and over and over again. Two things. Number one, because it always challenges my mindset. And because I'm always in a different place at that time. I mean, has anybody gone to a class and been like in a bad mood and really left and not retained what they thought they could, or their phone buzzed, or they checked their email, or et cetera? My point is this: you're taking point out of your time today to invest in yourself, and how you show up here is how you'll show up out there. Does that make sense? You will retain more the more actively engaged and involved you are. And here's the thing: I saw this quote on Facebook, and Facebook now is the where you go to learn all things
That's where I
accurate
get
and
my
correct
news.
and true.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything that you want in life is on the other side of all the crap that you don't want to do every day. Right?
So are you saying that your results are hidden in your inactivity?
Oh, inactivity is what she said. And this isn't like punitive, but I'm telling you, I'll give you a couple examples. Number one, Mark King, the president of KWI, was a team leader 5 years ago. He was a mega agent 5 years before that. My point is, you can be anywhere that you want to be within 5 years. See, business is just a couple things. Business is a mathematical formula. Does anybody know when I say that? Does anybody know what I mean when I say that? It means that you're going to say it. You love it.
I'm gonna say it wrong, so I'm not going to.
No,
Say it.
there's no wrong.
No, it's effort plus.
This is way more intelligent than I was thinking.
I love
I would say effort plus action equals results to me.
Yeah,
You might write that down, guys. That was pretty good. That's pretty
and
good.
I put mindset before that because here's my question. Do you really believe that you can be anywhere that you want to be in 5 years?
Yes.
See, here's the thing. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate where they can be in 5 years. For sure. This is just a step in that journey. And so through Ignite, you're going to learn mindset, you're going to learn activities, which are ultimately going to drive the results. When I say that all business, and I say all business, I want you to not think like realtors for a second, if that's okay. All business is a mathematical equation. Every business runs on math. And it all starts with the lead activities that you do to get the end results that you want. The question is, number one, now, by the way, I don't love math. I know math. I have a healthy awareness of it. I also, turns out, I don't like lead generation. I don't like lead follow-up. I don't like any of the things. But I have a healthy awareness that I have to do it. Like we have a good relationship with each other, but I don't like it. Anybody have a relationship with somebody or something they don't like, but they have to have it? Yeah, we all, yeah. Are you looking at me? Because we know the outcome we want, right? So the second that you take these tactics and these principles and you understand them and you apply them to your day-to-day, you might not love them, but we all love the outcome. Has anybody had a personal trainer before, or like watch a personal training video or whatever? Yeah, I guess guys, we don't say, yeah, right. We don't like it when we're doing it, do we? But we do it because we like the outcome, right? Feel better, better attitudes, endorphins, look better, eat better, all these things. See, we like the byproduct of it. We don't like the activities. Till you have a healthy awareness that the activities get you the results that you want. Does that make sense? So then it becomes a mathematical equation of, if I want X to be the outcome, then what's the mathematical equation? How many times do I have to work out a week? What food do I have to eat, et cetera? None of that's fun. How many beers can I not drink this week? And then that becomes the mathematical equation to get the results that you want.
And everybody's
Gradually,
math
then
is different.
exponentially.
And everybody's math is
Everybody's
different,
math is
right?
different.
Like what I might have to do in lead gen may be much more than what Dan may have to do because of his skill set and experience, right? So I might be able to operate under a 4-hour a day lead gen, whereas Dan maybe gets it all done in 2 hours, right? So we have these ideas of the 3-hour lead gen block, right? But his math may be different than mine. And so that's okay, especially in the beginning when you don't have all those skills in place. You may have to take longer. It's the doubling down on the activity.
I'm gonna share 2 more things and then I'm gonna leave.
You can leave?
Well, I have, yeah, because I have to. First off, this is can I let you inside Dan's head for just a little bit? Some ahas I've had over the last month. 2 of them are this. What's the difference in a goal and a standard? Look back, what is a standard? And everybody's standards in here are different, right? So when I say that, think of yourself. Think of this. What are the standards that I'm going to imply in my business and or personal life? What are my standards? Your standards might be, I'm going to show up at 8 o'clock every day. Your standards might be, I'm going to lead gen for X amount of time. Your standards may be, I'm going to show up at noon every day. I don't care what your standards are. My question is, do you have your standards? Because if you have your standards, you won't deviate from them. And then the flip side is this. What are goals?
What you want to achieve.
I want to achieve. Right. Standards are, so yeah. The intentionality behind goals are this. The intentionality behind goals are to invoke thought. To challenge your mindset. To challenge what's up here. You said mindset. So challenge this. Because I promise you, anything is or isn't possible. Every one of you could swim in the Olympics. Yet, are you willing to do the activities that get you there? Right? You can literally do anything that you want to do. Just a matter, are you willing to put in the time, the effort, and et cetera to get the results that you want? So here's the difference. We think of standards are this, but standards, goals are to invoke thought, standards are to run a business. So when we talk, we don't talk about standards a lot in this. We talk about expectations, but expectations to me are really standards. What standards drive my life? What standards I have will get me the outcome I want. The goal is to invoke thought. Yeah, I have my standards because I know that's going to get me what I want. Now, I'm gonna show you what are you pointing at?
Were you looking for a marker?
Oh, yeah, I was looking for a marker. That's okay.
I read Dan's mind.
So when we say that standards are the non-negotiable or the outcome, can I say it differently? The outcome is the non-negotiable. When I set goals based on closed units because everything else can be measured off that. And I think a lot of us either do volume or units or GCI. Is that fair? Is that kind of where everybody's business goals kind of start? And I could say them one of 2 ways. You can say GCI, but that's really just a math equation. Here's my question. This is your mindset thing, and then I'm gonna walk away. Goal, the outcome, let's say outcome. Is that okay? Can I say outcome? Is typically the goal or the standard, however you want to say it, whatever causes you to invoke thought. If this is the non-negotiable. So I want you to think about this right now, because we're what, January 6th, 9th, 8th, 9th, great. Pretty soon in the first of the year, right? We probably all have set our goals for the year, is that right? And typically, like I said, it's gonna be a closed unit number, it's gonna be a volume number, it's gonna be a GCI number, if we're just talking professionally. or business wise. Is that fair? Is that kind of where everybody's kind of in their mindset? Ultimately, it's all gonna boil down to GCI, but you can measure that a couple different ways. If this is indeed the outcome, if you went to the end of 2023 and it was January 1, 2024, and I said, your goal was X, did you hit it? Here's my question. Here's where it is. Remember I said math? This is math in the midline. This is activities. Make sense? So this may be lead gen. This may be listing appointments. This might be internet interactions. It may be follow up with sphere. It may be whatever activities, and I measure several, but whatever activities, if this is the non-negotiable, it means this is the negotiable. Does that make sense? Meaning this market is different than last market. Last year, last month, last week, I don't care what we're talking about. Every market is changing. The difference in here is math and conversion. That may be conversion from an internet lead to an appointment, to a contract, to a closing, et cetera. Meaning if this outcome is non-negotiable, your activities have to be negotiable. You follow? Because it may, to her point, it may take one of whatever the activity is, it may take 10. But if this is the non-negotiable, you see how this becomes negotiable? Now, here's the flip side, and this is the mindset thing I'm challenging you to. However, if you say this is non-negotiable, what you're saying is this is negotiable. You follow? So if you say, I'm gonna lead gen for 2 hours a day, period. What you're kind of saying is no matter what the results will be. But what if you're saying is the results are the non-negotiable, it means this is negotiable. It means you'll do it for 1 hour or 10 hours, however long it takes to get this. You follow? So what this class is, there's a little bit of mindset in here. By the way, thanks for taking that journey with me in my head. That's what this class is. This class is tactical and tangible things that you can apply to your business. There are proven statistics on average that we know will get people X amount of results. Some people don't know what those are, which is fine. That's the tactics to this class. Follow? The point is, the question is, how many are you willing to do of those to get that every time? That's business. And I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if your goal is to be a 7th level team, and I don't care if your goal is today to be the best individual agent you can be, because you're just getting started and et cetera. What we're saying is you're going to walk away from this class with tangible, tactical things that you can apply in your business today. And the question is, how many are you willing to do till you get the outcome that you desire? See, there's X amount of homes that sell every month in our market, period. And the only difference between who gets them and who doesn't is who's willing to do the activities to get in front of enough people to do what they want to fund their perfect life. So we're here to be with anybody, anywhere in the journey that it is that they are currently right now, and to help them move right here. And by hitting here enough times means that at 5 years, you actually will be where you want to be, wherever that is, whether that be monetary, transaction, goal count, buying a boat, buying a house, whatever it is. We're here to help in that through this so that we know people get what they want when they want it. That was really soapboxy, so thanks for hanging with me for a
He
little
went
while.
through like my first 5 slides, guys, just so you know.
I didn't.
Does anybody have any questions for Dan while we've got him? We don't have him very long, so.
No, they're afraid I'll just talk more if they ask.
That's my fear. No, awesome. Well, are you hanging out for just a little bit longer or are you skedaddling?
Well, I mean, this is like free time. No questions, no thoughts?
Anybody want to know where he came from or what his story is or anything about Dan?
Where's it come from, Dan?
Thanks.
Willard, Missouri.
All right.
Still live there now. I was $6.5 million in debt in 2008 when I got in real estate. My only goal was to be able to feed my family, quite frankly. So keep in mind, I was probably in as bad or a worse situation than any single person in this room, and I'm not minimizing anybody's story. And we all have one also, right? That is actually what motivated me. I actually didn't know how. There was a point in time in 2008 where I didn't know how I was feeding my family next week.
And
It
what were
was-
you doing at that time?
I was building houses and I was losing $30,000 a month.
You guys have heard of 08, right? Okay.
Some of you looking around were like 12 or 9, I don't know. Yes.
I was 4.
Oh, you're 4, great. Yeah. And I guess my only point in that is it created a unique fire that I had in me. So I want you, as you think of this, one of the things that we talk about in Keller Williams is your big why. Has anybody heard that or read that in the book? Your big why? You know what's really interesting about that? And I'm gonna put a little different spin on that. See, that question led to something else. The reason I am who I am is because of the experiences I went through. And I can say that about everybody. If you think about it, we are where we are today by a culmination of typically little decisions that we made along our life. Yet all of us could probably think of one really dumb decision we made, right? I have anyhow. Here's my thing. When we think of a big why, it's sometimes hard for people to conceptualize because sometimes we won't let ourselves dream that big. Right? And that's okay. You'll get there. I still struggle with it, quite frankly. But I'm gonna flip it and I'm gonna inverse it and I'm gonna say it different. When I think of business, I think of money. Not because that's what I'm chasing, but because the goal of every business is to make a profit, yeah? Okay, let's just have a healthy awareness about that. There's nothing wrong with making money. Here's the interesting thing. Most people can't think of a big why because they don't give themselves permission to think that big, or they haven't ever been challenged to think that big before in their life. Because if I ask somebody right now, just say a number, actually, let's just do this exercise. If you could make any amount of money that you wanted to next year, let me back up, I'll rephrase that. If you could make any amount of money next year, what would it be? Blurt out a number.
250.
Okay. What else?
Million.
$1 million. What else?
I was gonna say 120.
120. Here's the important thing. I phrased the question intentionally on purpose. I said, if you could make any amount of money next year, what would it be? Why wasn't it 500 million? Why wasn't it $1 billion? See, it already happens naturally within us because of perceptions and limiting beliefs people around us have put on us. Point is, you can make any amount of money you're willing to make, as long as you just know the mathematical equation. If the outcome's non-negotiable, then what's the business plan on the front side that leads up to it? So here's the thing with the big why. Most of us, myself included, sometimes don't think big enough. The reason why is because only 13% of people, this is a mathematical fact, 13% of people run towards pleasure. I'm gonna say the inverse part of that. 87% of people run from pain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Most of us are motivated by pain more than we're motivated by pleasure. Because maybe we don't believe we deserve the pleasure on the other side. Or maybe somebody else has conditioned us to believe that we don't deserve the pleasure on the other side. Or we're not adequate, or we're not, you follow my mindset? So here's my challenge when we talk about big why. Sometimes it is great to think about what your big why is, but sometimes people easily conceptualize it. When you ask people, what do you want? They often can't answer it. But think about it now, because we're just gonna do this exercise now. In your head, think of right now, what do you want? What do you want? Why are you here? What do you want? And people are challenged by it. But now think of the inverse question. What do you not want? What do you not want? People go, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to, right? So once you start going down that exercise and going, what do I not want? What do I never want to show up in my life? I've seen it all, I've experienced it all, and I've lived most of it. What do I not want in my life? That inversely manifests your big why. Does that make sense? That's why some people can't think in the big why, because they don't give themselves permission to think big enough to have all the things they want to have. They phrase it and they structure it and know, well, I don't want this in my life. But you can use that and harness that and just have the inverse opposite. So if you never want to worry about where you're making your mortgage or rent payment, the inverse opposite of that is I want to make enough money that I can pay cash for a house. So you see, you just have to rephrase the question in your head. And we're going to talk about in Ignite, a lot of is removing and limiting beliefs, taking these parameters off yourself. Because I promise you, Shannon knows this because Shannon knows me really well. I'm not any more talented, better, or smarter than anybody else in this room or in this industry or in this town. But I am willing to do things that nobody else is willing to do. I would say nobody else, a lot of other people aren't willing to do. And that's what we're going to change in this class. You'll be able to walk out of this with a clear understanding of what it is I want or what it is I don't want, whichever it is that helps you see it more accurately. And what are the things and the steps and the commitments and the standards that I need to put in place in my life so that I ensure I always get what I want, so that I never have to talk about the things I don't want. Is that fair? Oh, yeah, go on a soapbox.
I
didn't tell you
love it,
yet.
I
will.
love it.
That's good
See your
stuff.
hand.
Good stuff.
That's why Ignite. That's why. Do the activities. Here's the thing. Remember I said it earlier, everything you want in life is on the backside of all the crap you don't want to do. But when you have a healthy awareness acknowledgement of these are the things I don't want to do, but I know they'll get me the results of it, you'll start to love the things that you don't want to do. Okay, I really have to leave now.
Can we say thank you, Dave?
Thank you.
Really did a great job of priming you guys for what's to come in this class. Literally, there's like 10 slides. I don't even have to touch on them, but at least when we do the big why exercise, it's gonna make a little more sense. So as we're going through this material, please listen to what is said. However, I do want you to start thinking in the back of your head, what your goals are, what you're running from, what you're chasing, what that big why might actually be. All right, fair? Cool. All right, here we go. So you're in session 1. Maybe.
It's almost done.
I don't know, I did it earlier. and it worked.
It'll work. Well, I had to redo it.
Okay. All right, I like to move around a lot. You guys know this. Okay, so the way this is gonna be broken down is we're really going from Monday to Thursday. It's 3-hour blocks, okay? 2 hours of instruction, 1 hour of daily successes, which is like your independent work. Some of us are really long-winded and we will speak for the entire 2 hours. Some of us are not, and you'll have more time for those daily successes, but block the time off because it's important. We will go through what you're going to be learning during those 2 hours. We're going to go through what your 1 hour success system should look like. We have 2 different Fridays that we will be meeting. We have MLK Day next week, Monday, so the Market Center won't be open and we're certainly not going to have any big teaching anything. So we're going to go Friday. So that would be the next section, which will be a lead gen with Mark Stewart, I believe. And so that should be on your agenda, on your calendar. And then next week also, because we are going to be, many of us will be on a shift in St. Louis for Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to double dip Friday. So we'll have Friday morning and then Friday afternoon with 2 speakers on, again, lead gen topics like open houses and social media. Okay, cool. All right, getting through it. All right, so this is broken into four topics. These are the 4 key objectives. These are 4 things we're going to learn about. Real estate expert of choice, lead generation, lead follow-up, and transactions. So what we're doing is we're going to teach you guys in each one of these sections, all these topics, to make it super digestible to where you can understand what you're doing, what your goal is, and what this is all about. If y'all would just read the MREA, we wouldn't have this class. So, there's that too. But anyhow, so what this first section, so Monday through Thursday, is Spark Your Career with me today. Embrace your job tomorrow, connect with your market, and define your value. So this is all the really like you stuff. We're going to discover who you are, what your value is, what you want to do. And then we're going to go into the lead generation, the naughty word, right? It's not a naughty word. It is something you got to embrace it. It's just what we have to do. We have to be good lead generators because that is the job. We generate for the leads. Nobody's going to give them to us. And then we have to figure out how to follow up with them and then how to transact with them. Very simple concepts here, right? Nothing like crazy groundbreaking, but you're going to feel like it was groundbreaking because you're going to hear something or you're going to start a process or start something. And this is what's going to change the trajectory of where you're going to go. Okay. So in today's block, we're going to go and start mindset. So when I said Dan primed you for what we're going to talk about, he really did. He's such a great speaker. I love listening to him. I got to work with him for 6.5 years. So when he says, I know him really well, I do. New way of thinking, mindset. We're going to go into KW culture and then the KW value and the Market Center value. So where you can figure out what your value is. We're going to go into the different resources available to you with KW. And then we're going to talk about your career vision. At that point, we're going to be talking about your big why. And again, I did mention, I want this to be an engaging class. I'm going to call on you if you all aren't just saying what you need to be saying. All right, somebody read this for me, Cass.
anyone can do it. Not everyone will. Will you?
Okay, so Gary Keller, he wrote that. What does that mean to you?
Basically, anybody can do it, but very few people are gonna actually do what Dan was talking about and get it done.
Ding, ding, right? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to do what it takes to get it done, right? You'll hear me talk about things like doubling down on activities. In a shifted market becomes skill set, right? We are shifted. Hello, we're here. You got to be more skilled. You got to be knowing what's going on. And there's activities that some people aren't going to be willing to do, but are you going to do them? Are you going to be the boots on the ground, door knocking? Are you going to be the one that is hosting the open houses 2-3 times in a weekend? And are you going to do the activities that surround them to make them good, right? To make them more plentiful? Anybody else want to hit on this, or did we kind of get it? Good. We're listening, just checking. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is the 6 personal perspectives. This is really exploring mindset here. So tell me, raise a hand, who's heard of the 6 personal perspectives? All right, perfect. I'm not going to pick on you, Cass, but Christina, you raised your hand. No, I appreciate it. Tell me what your take is on what those 6 personal perspectives are.
Well, basically, you know, like to commit to the 80-20 principle, you know, you're doing, what is it, like 80%? No, 20% of the work gets 80% of the results. Is that what that is? It's backwards.
Right, but it's defining your 20%, right? So, but this is how to get your mind right to get into the right activity. So when we're in these 6 personal perspectives, we're diving into culture. We're diving into who you are, and really a lot of things that are KW taught. They're really fantastic. It's basically how successful people approach situation, how they approach issues or problems or anything. This is how a successful individual is going to handle it, right? And what's cool about these is they work in unison. It's not just like I'm just going to work on removing my limiting beliefs. No, I have to do them all, and I have to do them in order, right? That's why they're in a list of 1 to 6. You start with the top, you get it, you master it, and then you move down, right? Anybody want to guess why? Why is it more important for me to go in order and actually do all of them instead of just cherry picking the one?
I think it's just like following a recipe. If you don't follow the recipe, the result isn't there. Yeah, it doesn't end the same.
Yeah.
And I would say for me, I've done personal perspectives twice, and I'm really still at 4. You know what I mean? Like, I have had to move through it in a year and a half, and I just understood I literally understood E to P last summer.
Yeah.
Like, I listened to it multiple times, but it went ding, 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 ding for E to P. So I was able to move on.
Do you think that's partially because you're learning based?
Yes.
Right? So when we take these classes over and over and over, you are committed to being learning based, right? Okay, perfect example. I've been with KW 7 years, guys. I'm still going, oh, that's what that means, right? Like, I may have a decent understanding and a foundation of it. And you guys that have been here a while, I know you're in the same boat. So don't make me look silly up here by myself. But you hear these things, right? You're like, no, I hear you, sister. No, so you hear these things and you learn these things, but then it doesn't always click right away, or part of it does, right? And that's why we will teach the same things over and over, but we always try to find different teachers because somebody's going to say it differently, right? Like, who's the voice you're going to hear? Who's the right messenger, right? Because it's not always the person you think it should be. So when we get into this, we're going to start with commit to self-mastery. Notice it's not commit to mastery. We're not committing to mastery. We're committing to self-mastery, right? So know your goals, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. This is something I teach on quite a bit. We're so good about knowing what our weaknesses, aren't we? Like, it's our favorite thing to talk about is all the things that are our weaknesses, except that at interview, you'll never hear them. Oh, my weakness is I'm a perfectionist. No, you're not. Okay, promise you're not. All right, know how to work with both your strengths and your weaknesses. I like to take your weaknesses and turn them into opportunity, right? Let me ask you this. Are you committed to self-mastery?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Are you committed to knowing your strengths and your opportunities?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And are you committed to acquiring the knowledge, skills, and habits to be successful in business? Okay, yeah, I think so, because you're all sitting here today, right? You're giving up 20 days of 3-hour sections. That is a lot of time to committing to these things, So well done, friends. Well done. All right. So Christina's favorite topic, the 80-20. 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. So I think you were right there on the right track. Okay. Has anybody ever asked, hey, what's your 20%? Emily, I know you know this, right? Like people have been like, what's your 20%? Because Emily comes from a team, right? So she has a role within that team. And so her 20% is whatever that role is in the box, right? So Emily's not quite responsible for like everything that Cassandra would be responsible for because she's a single agent. Fair? Right. So teams will often put these 20% together. Like, you know, I'm going to use you guys as an example. So you're going to be my lead gener, you're going to be my transaction coordination, and you're going to be my agent. So she is in her 20% getting all the appointments for you. You're in your 20% by going to these appointments, getting them converted, because now you guys are partners in production, right? And then your job is to get it to her so she can close the file for you, right? So everybody's operating in these 20%, right? Instead of having to do the 80%. So that's how a lot of teams will operate. It's super cool. Like I said, I got to be a part of that at one point in my life. And now I'm like, oh no, we're just going to be individuals. It's really cool. So, all right. So let me ask you guys this. What's the most dollar producing activity in real estate? Okay. Is that what you would consider your 20% then? I don't know who said it, but you were right. Okay. Should that be your 20%?
Yes.
It is. All right, good. So if you do that and you rock it, are you gonna have more time with your friends and family? Are you gonna have more money in your account?
You have more money in your account, time with family, I don't
Hey.
know.
Ideally,
One thing that I learned early on is to leverage off activities you don't need to. Transaction coordination is great for that.
we have in-house transaction coordination. You know, we've got onward agent services. They're great for that. I love to say to people that come in brand new and say, hey, you're learning. So why should you have to learn the things, right? You have to learn what it takes to get a contract from contract to close. You need to know for compliance and all the other wonderful things that I know nothing about. But your production shouldn't slow down while you're learning, right? Because production is what keeps you in this business. That's why you guys are sitting here today, is you want to get in production quickly, right? Because the faster you get those deals, the longer you're here, right? We don't want people to just come in and be like, yeah, real estate sounds super cool, super fun. It's like, you know, HGTV. It's certainly not. We know that now. If we can get you into production quickly, you're more likely to stay. And so then I like to go back and go, okay, so why did you come here in the first place, right? What was the reason you came? And that shouldn't change, right? I mean, it changes, but we want to make sure that you get going quickly so you can see the success, which is why you came in the first place, right? So this 80-20 principle, it's pretty great, right? I think it's pretty great. All right, so E to P. Now this one, Cass, you were just saying, you just figured this out, right? All right, so it's entrepreneurial to purposeful. That's what E to P is, right? And so as you're right here, everybody's got this natural ceiling of achievement, right? Like you got that kid who's in Little League and he's 10 years old and he's hitting homers, right? Like, woo, 250 yards or meters or whatever that is over the fence, right? I should know these things. I don't know them. I'm not a math person. I just go and support my kid. Anywho, so we got that natural ceiling, right? But unless he goes to the gym and starts lifting weights and doing the things and becoming this stud 13, 14, that natural achievement, it's just, he's going to hit that and then what? He's disappointed, right? So once we hit that natural achievement, we need something to break us through to the next level, right? We use systems and models in KW to break through those natural ceilings, right? So if I come out the gate as a real estate agent and I'm killing it, I got 3 deals, man. I called 3 people, I got 3 deals. I got lucky, it was great, it was wonderful. And then I didn't do anything else. I'm gonna be pretty disappointed, right? Like I hit that. So what do I need to add? Models, systems, people who have done it before me that know what they're doing. So I add things like database management. I use my tech, I use command, whatever that may look like, to where I can break through this. And when we really dive into the 6 personal perspectives, which this is just an overview today, guys, we teach like weekend long classes on this stuff. This is just a sprinkle to get you excited about it. You'll hit another ceiling of achievement. right? So you're constantly doing this through life, right? You're never gonna come all the way back down to here. What does this mean to you guys? Like, what are you hearing right now? Besides the blank faces.
I know whenever I initially read there in the MRE about all of this, it gives me confidence that there's people with experience beyond me, so that whenever I run out of what I know to do, there's things to rely on.
Absolutely, right? Because our natural ability, our creativity, our ideas, whatever, is gonna get us so far. And then we're gonna have to say, uncle, I need help, you know, like what's next? That's why the MREA has all the models, the lead gen model, the budget model, the hiring model, all of that stuff. It's because somebody much smarter than any of us came up with a really solid way to do things. And we are all entrepreneurs, right? Like we come in, we need to reinvent the wheel. We need to refigure it all out. No, you don't, I promise. You put your flair on it, but the basics are already done and laid out for you. Again, it took me a really long time to figure that one out too. Give me, anybody, an example of a time you reached your natural ceiling of achievement and walk me through that. It's a little personal, but like I said, I want to be engaged. Come on. Don't make me call names. Don't make me do it. I'll do you dirty, I promise. What you got? I know you got something.
Me?
Yeah.
I've been licensed since 2016, full-time since 2018. So I hit in 2020, I sold 5.5 million, got comfortable, came down the next year, just because I got complacent, you know, instead of reinventing the system to push me higher, I just stayed with that. And then naturally that drops off whenever you get complacent and don't do the boring stuff every day like lead gen.
Yeah. Because it's not flashy, it's not sexy, it's not exciting, right? And what, you want me to just talk to people?
It can be exhausting sometimes.
It
going-
can.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the difference between somebody like Dan Holt and an agent that does $2.5 million in a year in volume is that Dan does those activities when he first started every day, all day. Like that's what he did.
And he still does them,
The Same
actually.
thing with, I mean.
If you look at Adam, Adam still has his lead gen blocks, Adam Grady, every morning. He does the activities, right? You can't get away from those basics. We can't get complacent. It happens. It's really easy to happen, right? So I commend you for being here today. Awesome. Anybody else? Cool. All right, moving on. All right, so being learning based, right? I would say you're all here today because you're learning based. It's pretty, when you guys onboard, right? It's what we talk about. You gotta be consistent, you gotta be motivated, you gotta be learning based. It's like a doctor. You wouldn't go to a doctor that's not consistently trying to learn more things and get better, right? And if we truly are a tech company that does real estate, then we need to be at the top of that at all times, right? So learning-based individuals, they make the decision to use their effective learning as the foundation piece for their action plans, okay? So training and education are such a big part of this to attain your goals, which anybody who onboarded with us, what's the one thing we told you? We will train you, right? I always say to the people who get into the free real estate school, hey, that test, that pre-licensing isn't gonna teach you guys anything about real estate other than ethics and laws and math and vocab, right? Our job is to teach you how to be the best, most rock star agent out there. So this is our commitment back to you guys because you said, yes, I'm gonna be learning based and yes, I'm gonna come and learn from you. And Ignite is really just the beginning of it. I don't really feel like there's too much here. It's really ignorance. I know what I know and I'm gonna ignore everything else. Learning, I know what I know and there's so much more to learn. There's so much more to know. I guarantee there's not anybody that's over here, right? And if you are, please raise your hand because I'd love to know what you're doing in here today, okay? No, we're all right here, right? I love learning something new. I love reading. I love all of that. Because not so that I can maybe pretend to be the smartest person in the room because we all know I'm not. I just like to know more, right? If I can know a little bit about a lot of different things, it makes me feel like I can be part of the conversation, right? And that I can be committed to making myself better, which kind of goes back to committing to self-mastery, right? So this is where they all work in order, but they all work together at the same time. All right, somebody read this for me.
I'm not, I am neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very, very curious.
Okay, so being learning based means staying in that curiosity, right? And being eager to learn more. All right, number 5, remove your limiting beliefs. Who has heard about limiting beliefs before? Right, every belief is really limiting if you think about it. Okay, so what we got? Michelle, read these for me. What are these limiting beliefs?
I don't have enough time for training. I can be successful in this market. I can devote 3 hours each day to lead generation.
Right. I see a lot of bad 4-letter words. Don't, can't, right? Don't say can't around me. I'll make you do something embarrassing. Those are limiting beliefs, right? I'm sure we have a lot of them. I still have a lot of limiting beliefs. I can't do that. Anything that said no, I can't, or don't, those are really, you're limiting what you're gonna do. You're limiting everything. So why would you allow somebody else to talk to you like that? Right? Emily, would you allow me to say, you can't do that? You're not good enough to do that. You're not smart enough. No, you would never allow me to say that to you, right? So why would you talk to my friend that way then? You're my friend, right? Don't talk to my friend like that, right?
Right.
So stop it, just stop it. It's as easy as that, just don't do it anymore, okay? Unlimiting beliefs. When you unlimit your thinking, you have unlimited to success, right? When Dan said, how much money would you like to make next year? And you said 250 and you said 150. I was like, what? About 150 million. Yeah, right? Like that's where I was at. I was like, okay, okay. And you were the only one that thought bigger, right?
That still wasn't big enough.
Wasn't big enough, certainly wasn't, right? I want enough money that I could wear gold heels. I don't know, right? Like something crazy, maybe get a mouthful of gold. Who knows? It'd be fun. But anyway, so when we're talking about these personal perspectives and when we're talking about really like breaking down the bad and filling yourself back up, this is right here with it, right? You've got to start filling your mindset with the good positive stuff instead of the trash we keep putting out there, right? If you wouldn't talk to your kids that way, your spouse that way, your best friend that way, why would you ever talk to yourself that way? And what's funny is it's the most simple concept out there. However, every single one of you in this room I know has struggled with this. And a lot of you, because I know you and I see you in my office and I know what's going on, right? And it's okay because you're in this together, okay? In order to successfully develop a higher level of you got to clear out this. Pretty simple thought, right? And guess what? It's January, so it's like new year, new you. Totally time for all of this good stuff. All right, so the next one, be accountable. What does accountability mean to you? G, what's accountability mean to you?
Hold yourself to something, or I guess.
Yeah.
Or holding anything to something, I guess it's not.
Yeah. Whether you're holding yourself accountable or somebody is holding you accountable to it, right? You have several different accountability measures in your world, don't you? You've got Brian, you've got our group, you're here today, right? Anybody else? What's accountability mean to you?
Doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, sure. To me, accountability is how I'm gonna hit my goal. I will not hit it if I'm not accountable to myself, accountable to the goal, accountable to the people it affects, and accountable to the person that I'm putting in that role, right? Like if I go to Emmy and I say, Emmy, I need you to hold me accountable to drinking more water every day. I'm putting some pressure on her, right? Now she's got a responsibility, she's got a job, and I can't let her down, right? So accountability is, to me, the only way you get to hit your goal. It's really the attitude and approach to your entire life, right? Accountability can be. I always say that talent thrives in accountability. Non-talent looks at it as micromanagement, right? So not everybody in this room is in a micromanaging type situation, but let's say that you've got a boss, right? Maybe this isn't the only job, or you're on a team, or there's somebody else you have to be accountable to, and they're constantly like, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Right? Feel micromanaged. However, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm definitely talent, then I'm going to look at that as you're just trying to make me better. Hopefully the person doing the micromanaging isn't doing that, because that would be awful. I would hate that. But that's probably why a lot of us are here today. We don't want to have to answer to somebody else, right? We want the flexibility, the pay, all those things. However, this job requires so much more accountability than any other job I know of. And it's accountable to you and the goals you want, right? Kind of went off script here. Sorry, guys. I'll try and reel it back in. But this is something I actually feel really, really passionate about. So let me ask you this. What are some ways that you can be accountable or are being held accountable right now?
Have a network of friends to support you.
Okay. So you're accountable to them.
Yes.
Okay. What else?
Let's say time blocking.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. too.
Oh, she knew the answer. I was thinking, It's like we spent time together or something. Right? Who's heard of time blocking before? Who just wants, I hate time blocking, right? Like, right? Don't lie. Don't lie. No, time blocking, right? Time blocking is you holding yourself accountable to the goals you want to make. And it's blocking the time for the activities, the activities to get to your non-negotiable goal, right? So if I'm time blocking for, what's the bad word? Starts with an L,
Jen.
ends with a G, right? It's not gonna be a bad word when we're done with it tonight. If I'm gonna be accountable to that, I've got to put it on my schedule, got to put it on my calendar, and I've got to block it. Meaning I barricade myself in this little fort, and that's all I do during that time. It's the most important thing because that's what I'm willing to do, right? Is to make myself accountable to hit this $500 million goal I'm trying to get to, right? I didn't understand time blocking for a really long time. I thought you just color code your calendar and you put the stuff on it and then you do it or you don't do it. It's just there. Right? Look, I blocked my time. Blocking your time doesn't mean jack if you don't actually do the activities and have the buy-in. So if your whole thing that you're trying to do is to be productive, not busy, but productive, because busy breeds more busy, production breeds productive, right? If my calendar just looks like a bunch of busy stuff and I'm maybe showing up to it, I'm maybe not. Am I really holding myself accountable? And am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing? No. You like my imaginary calendar right here? I can see it. It's all pink. Yeah, thanks. It shouldn't look this way. It should be filled. I want to look, if I'm supposed to be productive, I need to see lead gen time, follow-up time. I need to see appointment time, maintenance time. These are the things that my calendar needs to read. Right? So if you look at my calendar right now, it's atrocious, just so you know. Apparently there's not enough hours in the day. But it doesn't show new production. It shows maintenance of current clientele, right? So this is a lesson that I'm continually working through for myself, right? So I can be in the weeds with you guys on this one. It's tough, but it's the best way to hold yourself accountable, right? And again, we go back to this theory of, well, I got here to be flexible and I got here to not have a calendar and not do the things. Well, then you got here not planning to be successful. I can tell you that right now. You got to have systems, you got to have models, you got to block the things that are important. And just as I'm saying that, you got to block the things that are on the outside world of the why we're here today. Why am I doing real estate? Why am I doing these things? Maybe it's to go to every single one of my son's baseball games. Okay, well, if that's the case, those need to be blocked off because that is the most important thing. That's part of over here, right? To fund. This funds all the life things I want to do. So then I have to do this. So when Dan says these are the negotiables, yeah, the activities are negotiable, but doing them is not negotiable. I want to be very clear. You have to do them. Okay.
I think what you meant by the non-negotiable is what type of activity are you gonna do to get to the
It
non-negotiable?
is. Because you could put activities in a hopper, right?
Mhm.
Bingo, pull them out. This is what I'm going to do today. I don't care what you do as long as you're doing things that are going to be productive for you. So those things can move, but doing them is not an option. You got to do them, right? And I know you guys are all business owners. I'm not supposed to say what you can and cannot do. However, you're here today listening to whatever we have to say. So I'm going to say you really should. I highly encourage. It's very, very good for you. Okay, so when we're here, life happens, reality shows up. Ignorance doesn't seek accountability or reality, asks no questions, or seeks reality, awareness. What's the situation? Fights reality. They're in denial. Well, that's not the way it is. Anybody ever meet somebody like that? Yeah, that's not how I see it. They're called FISBOs, in case you were curious.
Yep.
Over here, they acknowledge reality, right? Clarity. I got it. I see what's going on. Guess what? This person's an active listener. They're gonna listen and digest what you're saying and then say, okay, so I can see it from your perspective. This one blames. This person's blaming. It's somebody else's fault. They're projecting, right? They're projecting other negativities about themselves onto others. This one owns it. I love this. Extreme accountability. Own it, right? The house didn't sell. You're right. That is my fault. What could I have done differently? I probably needed to have a better expectation conversation with you. That's a little bit sidestep, but whatever. But it's my responsibility. Okay. Personal excuse, deflection. That's not my job. Has anybody ever heard that before? That's not my job. Oh, get me going. Find solutions, right? What are my options? How can I get where I want? What can I do, right? Put yourself in it. Wants and hopes, resignation. If it was meant to be, it'll happen. Listen, Carol, you're gonna have to, and I'm sorry if your name's Carol in here, you're gonna have to make a better offer. God isn't helping us on this one, all right? It's out of my hands versus let's get started. Let's own this. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm willing to do, right? Pretty easy
You
stuff,
said
right?
FISBO. I had that exact conversation on that left side today.
FISBOs live here. Y'all should live over
Unbelievable
here.
How bad that conversation was.
Well,
If it was meant to be, it'll happen.
I'm like, but what if I could make it happen? Isn't that worth talking about? Right.
I'll have to tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's the same one.
Oh, of course it is. We go way back with this one. Oscar, read this to me.
Happiness is not an individual sport.
It's not, it's team sport, right? So Sean Aker is one of my favorites. He wrote The Happiness Advantage. And he was a keynote speaker last year at Family Reunion. And I listened to him speak and I was like blown away. Normally at that point in Family Reunion, I'm tired, I'm grouchy, I have blisters on my feet. I'm really not listening to what the keynote speaker says. But this guy got me. I was like, he's talking to me, guys. This is fantastic. I read the book in like 3 days. It was so great. Loved it. I've got another one of his books on my shelf help area in my office. What does happiness have to do with business?
Everything.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, if you're not happy in what you're doing, you're not gonna do the activities to achieve your goals.
Okay. So what's interesting about him is how he talked about how much more happy people were more successful, right? Why do you think that is? Why would a happy person be more successful in business?
Not allowing their limiting beliefs to get
Confidence.
them.
Limiting
Sorry.
beliefs? No, yes, mindset, right? If you are a happy individual and truly happy, not just like, hey, I'm taking it, so fun, love real estate. No, like actually like a happy person, then you are automatically gonna have people wanna, you're like a magnet for people. They want to be a part of that, right? Like if you're all like Ross from Friends all the time, hey guys, you know, like, no, I don't wanna be around you. You suck my energy. No, but if you're happy and upbeat, I wanna be around it, right? I wanna do business with you. So that's kind of cool, right? But the book is super neat because it talks about just making, you can't just go out and fake it. Like, yay, I'm happy. No, you have to actually work at it and make little changes, just like the book Atomic Habits, right? Little tiny changes make big changes later, okay? I don't know. It's a really good book. Please read it. All right, so this is the first section of ahas. I was a little bit wordy. I'm really sorry. I'll try to fly through some of the other stuff. Anybody got an aha? Does anybody not know what an aha is? You maybe don't know what an aha is. Would somebody who's been around the block a few times explain to these beautiful young ladies that have just joined KW, by the way, yay, to all of you that are brand new. What's an aha? Agents help agents. Is that really what it stands for?
Like an aha moment.
Yes, it is an aha.
Realization.
Right? Agents helping agents, right? So it's that part where you're like, what did I get from that? What was super insightful? What is the thing that I'm going to take away and maybe start implementing right now? I just want to hear 3 of them. What are 3 ahas from what we've talked about so far? And then I'll let you take like a minute break and shake out your wiggles, go to the bathroom if you need to, and then we'll go back to the next section.
So I think the accountability for me, I've always struggled with embracing that. And so just seeing that as a positive and not as a negative.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Just being here.
Yeah. Tell me more about that. What do you mean? You know me better than to take that answer. Come on.
Oh, well, it's just, I don't know, it seems like you have so many things just kind of get in the way. And I don't know, you just push yourself through it. I'm here. I've had a lot of things on my plate, but I'm glad I'm here. I want to keep learning.
It's entertaining at least, right?
It is very entertaining for sure.
All right, what about this side of the room? I'd love to hear an aha.
When you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success.
I love that. Good job, Emmy.
For sure is a great one. I think especially for us newbies, like your first aha moment is like passing that test and you're like, oh, I'm capable of this. I can do this. And you get here and you meet all these great people and you're like, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it. We got this. It's like having that mind, changing that mindset to like, we are all capable of success if we just believe that we can do it and we block off time to actually do this, the busy work.
Yeah, do the thing do the thing.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. I can't stress.
Don't strive to be busy, strive to be productive.
Aha, yay. Okay, that one wasn't in the book, guys. That was me.
That's someone on Facebook.
Yeah, no, so that's great point, great point. I don't like to say we're busy. Yeah, my 12-year-old's busy. I don't know what he's busy doing, but he sure is busy. But is he productive? Is he doing something that's getting closer to his goal or bettering whatever? He's a cool kid though, by the way, in case you haven't met him. Okay, cool. I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes. 2 minutes to shake it out. Normally, like I said, we run instruction for 2 hours and then you have the individual work. However, today you don't have individual work. We're just running through the whole.
We're still gonna be done at 3.
Oh, yeah. Or done
Day
before.
earlier.
You should be done before 3.
Okay.
You should be done before 3, because once I get going, if I would just stop with my side stories. Yep, you guys got 2 minutes.
Side stories are fun.
Love the side stories.
There. I've seen you.
I've been around a little bit.
Yeah.
So
So far, so good?
so far, so good. This was, when I first started.
Man, what's happening there? Kept me doing all right?
You want recently or when you first started?
Living a dream.
I ate too much food, so
Oh, you did?
yeah, earlier. So
It was me training.
You need to get out. It's-
Like,
I've been trying to accountability, that's my goal.
I lived on that left side for a very long time.
I didn't, I think there was just like last 6 months. And that's it kind of beat down.
We were human. Right, so that's what's so great about this place is it's like, hey, I see you, come on in.
Yeah. Totally have that. So,
Share with, just,
Yeah, it's just like when you're in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, exactly.
And I'm sorry if I gave you more work.
Yeah, I was gonna share.
You're all good.
Okay,
You're
cool.
good.
Is that something you're gonna do though?
They took it out of the curriculum,
Yeah.
but there's something that I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Hi. You know what? I don't know where those cookies came from. So Dustin's gonna test run them and see if they're poisonous. or not. So if you see them drop, just.
They're from
put 'em on the
Christmas.
table. We got
I
it.
think one as well.
If they're down here, they're for you.
For Christmas cookies.
No, we got rid of those. These are New Year, New You cookies.
Oh, yes.
We really do need snacks
They'll last
down here.
forever.
Seriously,
All
I'm
them
gonna
preservatives.
recommend that you guys like bring some snacks and things to share with me. Cause I didn't get my lunch. So I came down here.
You caught me off guard.
I caught you off guard.
I wasn't ready for that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's my job though.
I guess.
No, this, that beginning part is really probably the longest, like meaty section, right? And then like the culture, you all know what the culture is here. So we'll get that going here. All right, let's, we got a lot of empty seats.
I think too, a lot of the ahas, I've been in business for a long time, but this is a different kind of an animal. And I need this training ahas.
Oh, yeah, oh,
So,
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was all did this again.
Thank goodness for Mindy Whitty. So my son was very upset with me, little side story. He is doing archery in 6th grade this year, which is terrifying because I'm like, you're giving him a weapon, like that. So, but Mindy's son is also doing it, Mindy Whitty. If you haven't met her, she's a delight. She's super fun. And I can always count on her. Hey, Abby, your book is up here. I can always count on her to be at the kid event. So of course, last night at dinner, slams hands on table. What do you mean you're not coming to my archery tournament? And I'm like, bro, it's at noon. Like, I have a job. Do you like to go to a school that lets you do archery? Because I have to keep working for that. But he's like, well, I mean, who's more important? I'm like, well, clearly you aren't. They are. Like, I'm committed, right? So then he thought it was funny. At least I think he did. He may be crying still. But thank goodness for Mindy Whitty because she's taking pictures of my son.
Oh.
Yeah. Luckily, our kids have been in the same class since like 1st grade.
What school does he go to?
Cherokee.
Archery.
Right, so I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. And I'm like, how fun is that? Like, normally they don't let the 6th graders do much of anything. But yeah, he decides, he's just a unique character. He's nothing like me or his sister. And so he decides this year, he's like, I'm gonna do archery and orchestra. And I'm like, okay, like,
Those don't normally work together.
they don't. And he also is a stud baseball player and likes to play football. So he's a little well-rounded little individual I'm growing. Super cool. All right, so let's get back to it, shall we? Got these ladies, come on, talk in the bathroom. Come on. All right, so like I said, the new way of thinking is probably where I'm most passionate about, and that's where I spent most of the time on today. We're gonna dive into culture. So MVVBP, if you look at the front of your book, what do we got there? Is it there? Should be there. I put these books together. If there's any blood on your papers, that was fine. I'm sorry. Paper cuts are a thing. Is the MVVBP there? Yeah? Tell me what the MVVBP is.
Mission, values, vision, beliefs, and perspective.
Vision values, by the way. All right, so part of our culture is we have Red Day. You were here before. Did we do Red Day last year? Tell me about what we did last year. So for the people who don't know what Red Day is. A couple.
We went to Dogwood, no, is it Dogwood Ranch?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say that, and then there's the other one, Canyon.
No,
Dogwood Canyon, yeah.
yes, the ranch, not.
We went to Dogwood Ranch, which is an equine healing facility for at-risk youth. And we cleaned it up. Like we painted it, we cleaned out a lot of brush in some of the area. Some people got to bathe horses. We cleaned the barn. Oh my gosh, what else did we do?
Those were the main things I was
Yeah.
involved in, so I'm sure there was way more. There's
Yeah.
people out there like doing like
On the-
labor.
Yeah, they were like cleaning out the creek.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Mhm.
I don't,
Like probably $10,000 worth of work.
Yeah.
We did for them easy.
and then the year before that, we did some, was it Habitat for Humanity?
No, we
No.
did community.
I
What was
remember
that,
painting a
Kim?
house.
No, it
Oh,
was,
it was,
I was on the other side.
it's a home, yeah, Eden.
no, that was the year before. That was.
It was before. This one was, there was
It was a homeless shelter
shelters
facility.
where we were like painting.
Anyways,
Anyways,
houses, yeah.
super cool stuff within Springfield. So we have.
Connecting grounds, sorry.
Connecting grounds, that's exactly what it was, yes. Which is awesome, right? We're all about giving back, right? So Red Day is an amazing event that we do every year, and our ALC helps put it on, and we'll talk more about that here in a minute. We've got KW Cares, which is, I think out of every paycheck, you can donate a certain amount, and it goes to like KWRI, and they decide like what family or person or whatever is in need. And we have Springfield Cares here, which our ALC then decides where the funds get to go. So if we have an agent that's going through something or a client that's going through something, they vote on it and the money that you donate into it goes there. I don't know many companies that do stuff like this. We got KW Kids Can, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and cultural ambassadors. Like that's a lot of value in culture, right? So our mission, our vision, our values, beliefs, and perspectives. All right. Go to your first page. Somebody. Anybody, raise a hand, anyone? Dustin, great, thank you for raising your hand. Will you read me the mission? Now you all know what you're supposed to be doing. I called him out because he wasn't paying attention.
I have like the computer.
To build a career worth having,
A business worth owning.
Lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving.
love it. All right, Abby, what's our vision?
To be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers.
Love it. Adelie, what's our value?
God, family, then business. Real estate is a local service business driven by individual real estate agents and their local image with their centers of influence and client base. Our associates should be treated like stakeholders. Profit matters. Stakeholder companies always measure profit or loss, open the books, and tell the truth. Who you are in business with really does matter. No transaction is worth our reputation.
Okay, Megan, give me the perspective.
A technology company that provides the real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts like a trainer consultant, and focuses all of its activities on service, productivity, and profitability.
Woo! Mhm. Good stuff, right? What am I missing?
I believe system.
Okay. So who wants to read the Y4C2Ts? Which I didn't, when Dan came in once, this is funny.
Why?
Right?
Four.
He came in with, it was before I had ever really thought, I didn't know what the Y4C2Ts was, but it was on his vest. And I was like, what are you, like a pilot? This is a flight number? What is this? And he was like, that's not funny. You out of everybody should know this. And I'm like, well, do tell me, please. All right, so we are just gonna start with Christina and we're just gonna go snake our way up here. Christina, what's the W?
Win-win or no deal.
Okay, Oscar, aye.
Integrity.
Integrity?
Integrity, do the right thing.
Emmy?
Customers always come first.
Commitment in all things.
Okay, I see. Do you not
She
have
doesn't have
any?
a-
Oh, okay. G, communication,
Communication, seek first, understand.
all right. Who's got the next one?
Creativity, ideas before results.
Okay, Ben,
Teamwork, together everyone achieves more.
Trust starts with honesty.
okay, over here, Dustin, E,
Equity, opportunity for all.
okay, and finish out with my S.
Success results through people.
Okay, does everybody understand what all that is? Don't be shy if you don't. Okay, good. Moving on then. So there's an activity in your book, correct? I don't know what page we're on. Please skip around till you find it. Should be section like 1.21 maybe. It's the participant guide, your student guide, where you're gonna pick up a leaf and detail in a sentence or two on how you're going to embody that belief in your real estate work. Okay? Everybody find the page? Anybody who's found the page, go ahead and read out that number so they can get to it quicker.
1.10.
1.10, she says, like the Dewey Decimal System. All right, so 2 minutes. 4 minutes. I'm feeling generous, okay? Pick one of the Y4C2Ts. And then how you're going to embody that in your real estate work. Like my favorite's integrity, right? How am I going to show up differently and show integrity in all things I do? unspoken. All right, I would love a volunteer. How many volunteers than you what to do?
I went with customer. I think definitely like try to do my best to see their perspective and then to do my best for them, to treat them how I would want to be treated, like to the best of my ability.
Yeah, I like that. Do you think that's gonna make a difference in your real estate business?
I would certainly think so.
I definitely think so. Definitely think so. Anybody else? What you got?
Mine's communication,
Okay.
understanding more of my client, my customer, where they're coming from, and their wants and more of their fears of buying the home, where they're at in their life and stuff like that.
Yeah. Communication is so important, right? We all communicate differently. We like to be communicated with differently. You know, if somebody's moving from New York and they're like, I need space, well, maybe they just need a quarter acre, right? Like, ask more questions. Make sure you really understand what they're saying. Don't use your own biases. Do we think that that's gonna help him in his business? Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, I'll move on. Don't worry. All right, so going back to culture, we talked about Red Day. We talked about KW Cares. We talked about Kids Can. It's dedicated to empowering young adults to unlock their greatest potential. Super cool. I'd really like to actually learn more about that. Bless you. AHA's on this section. What do you guys think about the culture of KW and the mission, the vision, the beliefs? Like, what does that do for you?
I really love it. I think it's a great way to be part of the community and helping others. And then that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah.
Being able to be in that position to do those things.
Absolutely, right? It's that legacy, the life that you want to live and the legacy you want to leave, right? Most of us are, you know, coming from like a servant mentality, right? Like we want to help people. We want to help them do things. We want to give back to the community. This is a lot of the people that are in this room. And if that's not you, no big deal. Like there's no shame. It is what it is. It's easier to connect with people. Like I can say that Cassie is super involved with Rescue One and she loves them homeless hounds. I tell you what, she's always pimping them out. It's crazy. And that's another connection piece for her, right? Like she can connect with the people there in that community and all of the ones that are in that same boat. Like there's a commonality between her and those people. So they're automatically going to be attracted to her and her business anyways, right? And then you do give back to them too.
Oh, yeah.
Not just financially, but like time she drives the truck and gets the dogs sometimes, guys. Like she's pretty awesome. You should get to know her. Okay.
I want to say for like the AHAs and culture, especially for all the brand new people in here, which is amazing how many new people are in here. Anybody in this building, on Facebook, in the office, even if they're not in the building, because there's people I haven't met that will answer my question. Your questions will be answered. You have a community that is there to support you and help you survive every step of the way. And just join, just get in, start talking to them, and you will feel that culture. You will not feel it if you don't plug in though.
This is 100% true. I'm really glad you said that. So I always say like, are you competitors? Yeah, right? Each one of you, unless you're working on a team together, you're competing with each other. You're competitors. How many other competitors can go and say, hey, Michelle, I don't really understand how to do this deal. Can you help me? And that competitor would be like, oh my gosh, yes, I'd love to help you. I don't know any other industry. I don't know any other brokerage, unless it's one of those, you know, small little boutique brokerages that is really run as like a big team. I don't know. There's nothing else like it. That's why when people come to us, I'm like, I couldn't imagine going anywhere else because this place is unlike anything else I've seen, right? We talk about that opportunity map. Like, where do you want to go? What is it? How can I help you get there? Right? Like, that is just who we are. And we attract more of us, which is awesome. So great point. Great point. But you have to plug in. You got to go to the classes. You got to go to the events. You got to go meet the people, right? All right, so look, see, I told you, getting through it a little bit faster now. All right, so now that we've talked about KW culture, let's talk about KW value and market center value. So I haven't updated the 2022 goals yet because I haven't seen them come in yet. But in 2021, we were the top franchise for veterans. Did you know that?
Sorry, I was looking at my page number, what?
Do you know that we're the top franchise for veterans?
I didn't know that, no.
Does it surprise you though?
But,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, after being here, no, but like, I would have never guessed it
you
was
wouldn't
like.
have guessed it ahead of it. Will you tell them how you got involved with like SkillBridge?
Just like an internship, so basically at the end of your contract or your enlistment or whatever, you can apply for this internship, and if your leadership approves it, you go learn a new skill when you transition. So.
I just started. I'm SkillBridge as well.
Oh, yes, okay, so pretty cool thing, right? Yeah, I think so. For all you ladies, top female friendly company, in case you were curious. Sorry, fellas. We are the top 500 franchises in 2022, world's best employers, America's best customer experience, employers for women again, and new grads, by the way. Why do you think that is? Why do you think new grads?
Because the training.
The training.
Yeah.
It's 100% because of the training. By the way, there is a magazine, a training magazine, and we were ranked somewhere really high in that training magazine. I was like, I don't even know. Sounds like something you'd find in the airplane seat. Best employer for diversity in 2021 and more, right? These are huge, okay? So what else about KW value, right? We've got Connect Live. One of you old timers, what's Connect? And what is it hooked on to? Oh, guys,
I don't understand the question.
what is Connect?
Oh, it is a resource center where you can find anything you could possibly ever need about real estate in
Literally
Keller Williams.
anything.
Training
All the classes.
videos, everything.
Yeah,
Scripts,
there's
marketing.
anything that you could possibly want. We were just talking about a listing presentation in my office, and where did I go? I said, here you go. You just go right here to Connect, and here's 15 different listing presentations, and you plug and play. They give you everything potentially you could need. And they're constantly doing updates to it, right? And we've enrolled in this database days in our market center. We got Brian Fisher coming in to teach us how to do really great, cool things with Command. But there's local trainings, there's Mega Camp and Family Reunion. Raise your hand if you've been to one of those too. Nobody. Raise your hand if you're going to be going. Okay, so we got some first timers going to Family Reunion. You've never been to Family Reunion or Mega?
Me? No.
Really? Okay, it's like the best party on the planet, guys.
Now, I did watch,
You watched it, because we did, yes, in the last couple of years, we did some virtual stuff, and
but I've never been to the Mad Dash, that is.
it is like a Beatles concert when Gary gets on stage. I mean, people go crazy. It's cool. Anywho, so I've never been to Mega, because it's always around back to school time and my birthday. It's about me, not anybody else. So I've never been to Mega, but it's really, really fun. I've done Family Reunion like 3 times, and it's a blast. So it's just one of those things where if there's new tech, they roll it out. If you get the best keynote speakers, you get to hear the state of the company from Gary himself, and he's like right there. He's much smaller in person. I thought it was cool because everybody looks big to me. So, but anyway, so all of this is available to you. We've got KW Max, we've got Bold. Who's done Bold? Does Bold make a difference?
Yes.
Yeah, it sure does. I always say, you do Ignite, you do Bold, and you're destined for success. And then you plug into all these other things. And the Family Reunion is super fun because you're not just learning and going to breakout sessions and hearing things from other top producers all over the nation. You're networking. Some of the best stuff comes in that hotel bar at the end of the night when you're just, that's where I'm at. I don't know where you guys are going, but maybe it's to dinner. I don't know. But anyway, so having that conversation, and now guess what? Now I have a referral partner in, Louisiana, that when I have something, I know because I've talked to that person, I've interfaced with them, right? So these events are great to be a part of. Command. Tell me about Command. Anybody in this room that's actually using Command as it should be used? Both of you.
I'm using it, but not to the potential it can be used for.
It's like our brain. We don't fully use the full. Yes, sir.
I use it for goals, so like, and well, obviously the database too, but like when you put in what you want to make, it'll really break it down to what your activities need to be monthly, weekly, and daily, so it doesn't seem so scary.
Yeah, no, I always say it's chewable that way, right? So it's one of the best systems for putting all of your contacts in one place so that nobody falls in the cracks. We give you smart plans and text features and all these other things to help you to stay at the center of the business. Because when you have 350 people in your database, is that piece of paper, that notebook, or that spreadsheet really going to keep you to it? It's another accountability piece, right? It's a tracking tool. It really does. You can load in your appointments, your conversations, literally anything you want to track. It does it all here for you to where you can see what the math is, the conversion. It's all right there for you. If I want to know that it's going to take me 3 hours to get 20 contacts, and when I mean contacts, I mean a two-way conversation, and don't call me again and hang up does count, by the way. If it takes me 3 hours to get 20 conversations to get one appointment, then I know what my conversion is, so I can allocate my time better when I'm time blocking, right? Super important, but yeah, it is totally like the brain. There's so much in there and we only use a percentage of it, but you got to start somewhere, right? So start loading those people in there. That's step one. Put them on the DTD2, put them on whatever kind of smart plan to where you're just sprinkling on them. And then you make those intentional reach outs for birthdays, for home anniversaries, for, hey, I'm just checking in on you, or it's the holidays, right? Your 4 quarterly calls, whatever that looks like. Oh, I forgot you were back there. I'm going to call on you next, Andrea. Just messing with you. All right, app. All right, so everybody have their app? Okay. Tell me what's so great about having your own app. This is really, I mean, I know what's so great about it, but it's really the people that are newer and they're not using the app. What's so great about the app?
The one interaction I had so far, I ran across a friend and I was able to put his contact information in there immediately and the notes that I'd had from that conversation.
Yeah, it's you're on the go. You're on the go command and tracking and all the things, right? So let me ask this. When you run into your friend and their friend is like, oh yeah, I look at houses. What do you think they use to look at houses? So you know what I say? And I'm sorry if this is like cyberbullying at this point, but I say, oh, that's trash. They sell your lead. You're just a lead. They sell you off to somebody else. Use my app because then your information is safe. You're not being sold to anybody. And I'm the only one that can see it. Right? And then what's super cool is as they like things, then I get notified like, oh, so-and-so looked at your stuff and they liked it. So then I can be like, oh, hey, you, what are you doing? Oh, you're looking at houses? That's crazy. Me too. You know, or whatever that looks like. Right? So it helps keep you in the middle of it. Right? And then you can also do all your back end stuff. You can see where you are for the cap. You can do all of that cool stuff with it. Right? So if you don't have the app downloaded and you're not using it yet, you need to start doing that. It's really, really great. Okay. So with the app too, I really like it because when I meet somebody, I don't want to give them a business card because then that leaves it to them to reach out to me, right? I'm not allowing that. I want that contact information. So for me, that's my best way of extracting it in a non-pressure situation, right? Oh, here, just download this. Here, let me share it to you. What's your phone number? Right? I'm sneaky. It's fine. I'll teach y'all how to be sneaky too. All right. So lots of value there, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Is it good for you, your customers, or both?
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. All right. So let's talk about the market center value, right? So we've talked about the mission, the vision, the belief system, the perspective, all that, right? It's not any different at our market center. We follow the exact same ones that KWR lines out, right? Because we believe them, okay? Contributions, like we mentioned before, out of your paycheck, you can do Springfield Cares, you can donate to Red Day, you can do KW Cares, you can do all these things that we say, hey, we'll make giving easier for you. And what's super cool too is you can even do a family reunion fund, right? Like we'll hold your money for you. You don't have to use it for family reunion. Some people just use it for education in general. But like, hey, out of every paycheck, put 10% aside so that when February rolls around and I want to go to family reunion, I've already pre-saved that money because we all know how y'all are with your money, okay? You need all the help you can get. All right, so when we talk about the leadership team, these people's whole world is revolved around helping you be a better you, okay? Dan, OP, got to meet him today. He's a delight. We got our team leader, Mike Brown. We've got our assistant team leader, Jason Massengill. He's really kind of heading up NICSA, but he's still around here quite a bit. We've got our MCAs, Rachel and Landon. We've got, well, Nicole's your director of agent services, but she's kind of also your tech trainer because she knows all things command. Because if you come to me about command, I'm going to say, yeah, it's great. Go use it. Don't ask me. And then we've got down here, which you can't see, is our director of first impressions, who's Haley, right? Every single one of us is a Market Center employee here to help push you forward, make you better. And then what's cool is we've got the ALC, right? These are the people who have different committees, and they have an equity committee and a wealth building committee and a growth committee and an education committee. And their whole job is to make this place better for you all the time. Okay. These are this year's ALC members. I don't know that they've been released yet, but we've got Trey, Blake, Liliana, Brian, Susan, Paulina, Stacy, Drew, Josh, and Amy. Really great group of leaders here, right? They take the top 10% and they make an invite, and then they train them up on how to be really awesome MEMS. So, all right, so profit share and growth share. Passive income, right? So when we do talk about that opportunity map, right, we talk about different funnels of income. Profit share is great. Basically, the company will reward you for having a big mouth. Okay, so if I want to then recruit somebody, when they start paying in, the owner will share their profit. I'm not taking, like if Cassie was under me, I'm not taking Cassie's money. Cassie's paying that into the brokerage. And then at the profitability at the end of the month, it gets divvied out to who brought people in that are producing agents. What a great way to make a passive income, right? And let me add this little caveat, the right word, I'm not sure. You've got K-Score available, meaning free real estate school. How easy is it to get somebody to come in and get under your profit share or whatever if you're able to offer them free real estate school? It's a great recruiting opportunity, right? Like, if Emmy was out hanging out at the library, talking quietly to somebody, maybe, you know, she meets somebody and she's wearing your name tag and I'm like, oh, do you do real estate? She's like, yeah, I do. Call me, you know, here's my number. But she could recruit them in and get them right involved into real estate, and then what, change their world. And then Emmy can make some money on the side. What is growth share is when you're gonna go like out of the country. So you're going to grow the business as a whole. Like there is somebody who started a market center in a country that did not have a KW, and that whole grouping of people is under them. I don't know that they're even selling real estate anymore. Like it's pretty cool.
Right.
But there's so many opportunities, right? So it's not just like when you come in, you're an agent and you buy and you sell, or you're an admin. Like there's so much more here. And that is a big, big value in my opinion. Another thing that I kind of skipped over was the lore, which is the language of real estate. And we really go over those at the team meetings. And what it is, it's kind of like percentage wise, where do I stack up as KW amongst other people in our serviceable area, right? And the numbers are really cool. And so you should come to team meeting and find out. All right, any ahas on that one?
I just found out you guys offer free real estate school.
Like just now?
Sorry, new person transfer.
Just now?
Oh, agent, new transfer. Yeah, no, I had no clue.
My bad.
It wasn't your,
Whoa, no,
it wasn't your bad.
Your bad. No, that's amazing, right? It's almost a $500 value,
Yeah.
right? And so we do K-Score, which is Keller's Successful Career Opportunities in Real Estate. So it's a great way. You got a lot of people up in there, don't you?
All up in there.
They're all in there. But it's through.
He's the main contact on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just give me their information. And then I try to set up at least 3 career seminars in 1 month's time. One's a Zoom, one's at night, and one's in the middle of the day. But then if they can't fit into any of those, I'll have a private conversation. I just can't have a lot of private conversations because we all know I don't have enough hours as it is. But that's a me problem, not a you problem. But yeah, so we do the free online schooling for them.
Okay.
And then I always say, like, if you need some practice exams or anything like that, let me know. Gee, you just went through Kaplan, didn't you?
So Jean.
Right? 2 of us. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. We have several agents within the office that have gone through it. It can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months, right? So it just depends on how motivated they are to make this major career change. But the fact that our market center offers that is a huge value add to you and your recruitment abilities, right?
No, I'm still working through Kaplan.
Still working through it. Hey, that's okay. Come see me. I have some extra materials that may be helpful. I would just say, just get through it, get to the test part.
It's
been a long road. Yeah, I hear that. It's hard. It's not easy, right? Oh, simple, not easy. Okay. Anyways, we good? All right. KW resources. All right, so within KW, we have other like little side things that you can do. I'm really not familiar with Keller Manage or Keller Offers because they don't offer it here. I do believe Keller Manage is something to do with property management. Keller Offers is something about, it's not Keller Mortgage, but it's how to get cash offers on your house and how to get money for, if you want to do a renovation or something like that, right? So I do have, just if you Google them, you can learn about them, but we really don't see these here. But what we do see is Keller Mortgage. Has anybody ever interacted with Keller Mortgage before?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, both of you? I want to hear what your experience was like.
Actually, both times that I did it, they were able to beat the person that, my client had come with.
Yep.
Yeah. And, really responsive, really not, I mean, they're far, whoops, I just threw my ring. They're far away. Because I think my agent is in Iowa, actually, that I use, thank you, on the app. But he extremely responsive, so I could email in the morning and by the late morning or early afternoon, I'd have a response.
Yeah.
And so really good, and it's all in an app, so, and I actually even 3 years ago, before I became an agent, used it, and it was very simple, but I ended up going with another that my agent recommended.
Sure.
So it was really good.
What you, Steve?
Mine went smoothly,
Super smooth, right?
super smooth. Both the times I've used it.
Oh, yeah. So I had a friend that had moved from Joplin to here, relocated here, and we set them up with Keller Mortgage. And because of the price point of their house, they were able to get a certain percentage back in like closing cost coverage. And they were really easy to work with and consistently able to answer that call at any point. This is a really great option. I am a big advocate of give your people multiple vendors to choose from, right? Because then when somebody doesn't do a great job or they feel like they didn't do a great job, you're kind of not liable, right? Like I gave you my recommendations and I'm always very clear with, and if you're not getting what you want, let's move on to somebody else, right? And I like to throw them in there because there's really great benefits. Keller Covered, it's home insurance. I know nothing about that. Has anybody done any of those yet?
I just found out about that one.
I
Just
actually
now.
tried it when I found out about it, and it's kind of like using, what's that tree? There's a tree.
Lending tree?
Lending tree, it's the same way,
Okay.
so you're gonna get a million phone calls from insurance.
All the different ones, so
companies.
they shop you.
Yeah.
Okay, so whereas maybe we have like a Jess Bowman or an Adam McGrath who will do all the shopping for us.
But it
as
is
one
the ones that you
individual.
never see, there's like hippo or elephant, I don't know, there was a bunch of ones I'd never heard of.
I know, I'm telling
It was weird. I know, it was weird,
Well,
but
I'd like to hear more about those. All I can say is the mortgage has been around the longest, and so I think they've worked out some of their kinks. I know in the beginning, I was a little bit like, I want a brick and mortar. I want to be able to call and yell at somebody. You know, I do yell at people. But yeah, so it's again, these are KWX companies that Keller's always trying to be better, and they want to offer more to your people, and they want to offer more value to you. All right, so communities. Okay, so these, I think they used to call them segments or something. I can't think of what they used to be called, but if you are all about luxury, there is a KW community devoted to making you a luxury agent, right? Like you pay into it. And then you get special signing and special promotional materials and all kinds of stuff, and you're known as a luxury agent. Same thing with land, new homes, military, like so Brian Fisher, he's KW military. Commercial, which everybody always wants to play around with commercial. If you are not a commercial agent, let's talk more about that. Maybe y'all need to be referring that to somebody, or make sure you know exactly what you're doing because you get yourself into some trouble. There's a new one, KW Young Professionals, sports and entertainment. There's all kinds of really cool communities. So it's all through Command and Connect. Just start looking around in there and seeing if there's one that speaks to you. right? And what's really neat is the ALC is gonna also be trying to roll out different kind of communities here, right? When you find your people, you become more sticky to something, right? So like if I love pickleball, which I don't yet, I just haven't played it yet. But if I wanna like get into pickleball community or a softball community, don't ever invite me, guys, I'm the worst. I will tell you I'm really good, I'm really not. But maybe interacting with other people that like those kinds of things. So we're always about making it sticky for you. Any questions? Okay, I know, I said I'm flying through this, but this is stuff you guys should know about, or it should spark enough interest for you to want to learn about it. Anybody got an aha on any of that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? He wants to play pickleball too, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, we bought a house in August and I really wish I would have known about Keller Mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't always work, right? It's just, but it's another resource. Like I want to say it used to be like if it was $250,000, you were able to get like 1,500 or 2,000 back in your concessions and lender fees, right? Because
We even used an agent here in the markets, here in the greater Springfield office, and didn't get any mention.
you asked that agent, hey, why don't you tell me about Keller Mortgage? Maybe they had a personal bias. Maybe they had a bad experience. So I will say as an agent, right, like we're their Angie's List, right? So we want to provide the very best of the best. And if somebody's had a bad experience, if I've had a bad experience with somebody, I won't recommend them. Right? Like if the inspector did me dirty, I'm not going back. Okay? Good. All right, so this is the fun stuff, okay? Not that the rest of it wasn't fun, it was super fun. Does anybody need a break or are we good to keep powering through? Keep going, okay. See, guys, I'm still on time for those of you who didn't know. All right, so you should be in your section, well, I don't know, Cass, where's big Y, big life, big vision, where's that at?
1.16.
1.16, you should be up in there somewhere. All right, your vision, your future. Okay, so find that page. And let's imagine that 1 year from today, write down, what is today, the 9th? January 9th, 2024. Write it down or type it in or think about it. This is what's happened over the last 12 months as you look back and reflect. Think big, guys. Don't think about today, tomorrow, whatever, just think big. 12 months down the road, a lot can happen in 12 months, right? So I want you to think, and if this helps you, close your eyes. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You are building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You are the top agent in your market center, or maybe rookie of the year if it's your first year. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. You are on the path to what? Write it down.
Do you have another pen? Mine died.
Yeah, this is a good one. I broke the clip off.
Thank you.
Been used well.
No worries.
I want you to envision your own future and write down the great things that have happened in the last 12 months based on this. You got 5 minutes. Think big. Be proud of yourself. Lean into your strengths. All right, you guys got about 1 more minute. All right, guys. How does that make you feel? Reading that, writing that, thinking that, feeling that. What kind of feelings does that bring out in you?
Hopeful and excited.
Yeah. What else?
I started going bigger.
You start building? Okay, cool. Anybody feel like, how am I gonna get it done? A little bit? That's okay too. This is the time to just be excited about it though, right? Like get pumped about it, get excited, because sky's the limit, and even then it's really just outer space, right? You just keep going bigger and bigger. Who actually intends on achieving what you wrote down today? I love it. Why did you write it down if you don't intend on doing it, right? So they say that goals are more likely to be hit if they're written down and said out loud. And even more so if you have somebody held accountable, like 70%. So I've always known this, but I can't say that I really believed it until just recently. So I was at Bold, and you know, if you were at Bold, you had the 5-year goal, 3-year goal, blah, 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 blah. Put my 5-year goal out there, and one of my idiot friends came up to me and took a picture of it. And I was like, whoa, I don't know that I actually intended on doing that. I just wanted to write it down, you know? Well, my 5-year goal turned into something that I actually get to do in February. So super cool, right? I had somebody that held me accountable to it, cared enough about what I was doing and my success to push me to that. So it really does work, but you gotta be over here, all in, committed to the activities to make sure whatever that is, that nothing's gonna get in the way. Anybody want to share theirs? I'm not gonna make anybody because this can get really personal, but if anybody feels compelled to share it, I'd love to hear it. Oh, yes, okay.
If all this up top was achieved and I was pursuing having an admin and everything, I'd pursue more of my real estate investing in fix and flips.
Yeah. I'm gonna encourage you to take that thought and build out a plan around it, and with SMART goals, like that are like check off goals. Like, yes, I did this, not like, I wanna feel better in my jeans, right? Like, maybe today I feel better, maybe tomorrow I don't, but like take those goals. Take how many properties, how much it's gonna cost, whatever, start building it out to where it then becomes little easy tasks to get there.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool. Anybody else?
I'll share mine. Mine was earning enough money to pay off all my debts, add 2 agents to help with my numbers goal of becoming a Bold coach and getting closer to EJ's retirement so he can actually travel with me while I'm a Bold coach. Buy an investment property in Florida and get on the board of a rescue.
She maybe has done this activity once or twice, guys, so she kind of knows how
I did
to.
add some things to my goals.
But you totally
so-
did. You
Yeah.
totally did.
Yep.
Do you really want those goals?
Yeah.
So are you really gonna do the work to get it done?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I need the answer. It's 5 questions. All right, cool. Okay, your big life, all right? Go to your next page, your little diagram. I want you to expand your thinking past next year, okay? By the way, guys, if anybody wants to make a copy of that, I'll hold on to it for a year and send it to you. There's nothing more surprising than hearing your past self talk to you, right? So hit me up afterwards. I'd love to be a part of that. But so expand yourself. What are you doing? How are you feeling? What are you doing for the people you care about? What charities do you want to support, right? Like Cass put it in hers. How would that make the lives around you better, right? The people that maybe rely on you or the people that don't rely on you yet. I don't know. So you're gonna take a few minutes to complete the chart in your guide. In the box in the middle is your final number. So leave that one blank. So you're gonna fill in projects you care most about and how much it's gonna cost to get there. So, you know, if maybe one of your things is put both your kids through school, about how much do we think that's gonna cost, and put that in the box, okay? And so you're gonna get about 5 minutes to go through and start putting, you wanna pay off your home, you wanna pay off your car. Most of us, if you know, you got a mortgage payment, you know what your principal is, you know how much you owe on it, right? So put that number in there. Once you add up all those little lifestyle boxes, you're gonna put that number right in the middle. Okay? What did I say, 5 minutes? I'll give you 3. And don't limit yourself. Don't think about how am I gonna make this? Right? If it's important, put it in the box. If it's something you want to achieve, put it in the box and then attach a price to it. Is this your big Y page too?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna roll right into that. So once you wrap this up and you get this number here, I want you to scooch down to the bottom where it says the big Y. And I want you guys to remember the reason it's big is because you're going after a big result. And the why is why you get up every day and do this, right? Because sometimes it's not glamorous and flashy and fun. Sometimes you walk in a house and get fleas, right? It's not fun always. And that is a true story. There's no jokes about it. But your big why powers what you're doing. It powers your big life, right? And the more connected you are with what you want to do, the more success you're going to find. So spend a little bit of time talking about your big why. And what's cool is your big why may be something little right now, and it turns into something bigger later. And always go back to your big why. And if it changes, awesome, you're growing. When you grow, you change, and your direction and your motivation, everything changes around you, right? Like, so it's okay. It doesn't have to be like in concrete. Big why can change. Mine's changed a lot in the last couple of years. I started off with something small of, I don't want to work 2 jobs and raise 2 kids by myself anymore, right? That was my big why for a long time. Well, I put my goals on paper and found somebody to hold me accountable to them. So then I moved into like 1 job with 2 kids on my own, and it was great. And then I met this stupid guy and fell in love and whatever. So here I am today. But the big why has changed over and over and over. Okay, it's really great.
Stupid guy, huh?
He's stupid, but I love him. I think the best way to think about the big why is what stirs your soul, like what gets you excited, right? What gets you up and pumped every morning. Anybody want to share their big why? Natalie?
I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of reasons. Being so young, I felt like I grew up really fast and I had all these ambitions and goals and things I wanted to do, but never really knew where to start. So I kind of hit a plateau for a long time and kind of took a toll on my mental health for a long time, not knowing what was next and feeling like I wanted to progress in my life, but not knowing where to start. So I think like having a basis of where to start now is like super exciting because I'm like, okay, I have something I'm ready to focus on and now I know where to start. Now I can start. So, yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I never really experienced before KW was where do I start? What do I do? Where's the training manual in life, right? Like they didn't give it to me. And just not having direction, not having clarity, not knowing what my vision was or what my belief system was. Okay, yeah, be a morally sound individual. Sweet, check, got it. What next, right? Like, how do I do this whole thing? Because it's hard, you know? So thank you. Love that. Anybody else?
Mine is financially support my children and make sure I get to make their dreams come true.
Awesome. It's never really about the money, right? Like the financial support, financial freedom, all of that stuff is good. But what we do every day, I could go and work a job that makes money anywhere. So why am I coming here? What keeps me coming back here, right? And what is bigger than the money? Awesome. Okay. How do you guys feel? I should back up for a second. How do you guys feel about those activities? What's going through your minds and your souls right now? As I drink my baby cup of water. I feel like a giant. I have a little cup, just in case you're wondering. Oscar, what does these activities make you feel like?
I need to be more consistent because then I'm like, then I'm gonna not follow through a day or two or more,
So you maybe lose motivation and inspiration a little bit sometimes?
laziness. No
Don't be so hard on
self-discipline.
yourself. But, right, so no matter what we do, like what if my dream job, well, I'm working my dream job, but let's just pretend I wasn't. What if it was to be, Minnie Mouse at Disney, which it was at one point in my life. We can talk about it another time. I didn't like it. They missed out. Anyways, so I was actually the size of a chipmunk, not Minnie Mouse, so whatever, that's a different life, okay? But what if that's my dream job, right? Like even having my dream job where I love and I'm excited and doing whatever, it's an atmosphere character at Disneyland. What, am I gonna lose motivation some days? You bet I am when it's hot. It's 109 degrees and I gotta wear a mini costume. I'm gonna lose a little bit of inspiration and motivation, right? So it doesn't matter what you're doing. This stuff's hard, right? So that's why we always go back to that big why and we focus on it. Because that's what kind of grounds us, right? That's what keeps us coming back. All right, cool. All right, so let's see. In the last activity, you learned how much money you want to make, right? To pay for the things that are most important to you. Anybody want to tell me what some of those numbers were? The bottom or the middle, the circle? What you got?
I had a question, was that supposed to be each year or total ever?
Total ever, maybe, right? Like, if it's gonna cost, what was it, 120,000 to put your kids through college? Right?
Well, I'm banking on them getting a scholarship, so.
Well, you tell me how that goes. Pay off my mortgage, right? Like 18,000, thank you, not mine. Mine's like full price still. But then it's like, what's that big number in the middle? Mine's way more than 364, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, mine was about 200 million.
200 million? That's probably about spot on, what, right? And I'm not saying you gotta make that this year.
Right.
But the big why is why we want these things, which is gonna help us to get there. Because what happens when we put it on paper and we say it out loud, it's more likely to happen, right?
Mine was $900,000, which at what I do right now is 5 years away.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that one more time for those in the back.
Mine was $900,000 and that was everything. Buying the Florida, paying everybody off, all college, mortgage, and having living expenses was $900,000. And at my goal now, which is 32 transactions, is 5 years away.
We can make it 3.
Right, exactly.
Right? So now you take that crazy five-year goal and you put it in the 3-year goal.
Right.
A little bit of pressure, but pressure turns coal to what? Diamonds. That's right. All right, so as we're talking about money, let's actually talk just, real talk for a second about where your commission dollars go. Okay, the other agent, market center, business expense, taxes, and then your take home, right? So we can't just say, well, I'm gonna sell a $200,000 house, I'm gonna make $6,000, I'm gonna go buy a new car. Sorry, guys, it's not quite how that's gonna work, right? Okay, so, okay. So they have it broken into oh, that's cute. I should have done it that way. Here, back up. Let's pretend like I didn't say that. Look, right? Okay. The other agent, that's half, right? Because if we're typically a 6% business, so they're getting 3% of it just for showing up, right? We did all the work. Business expenses, taxes, what you get to take home. That was sad, I'm sorry. We'll move on to the next. All right, so you've got a sample sheet, right, guys? Fun. Got a sample sheet in there with some blanks, maybe? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so this is where you're gonna fill in the blanks. This is just a really bad example, but it's the math to figure out the other way, right? Like if I do these activities, this is the math so that I get my goal, right? And it kind of breaks it down to exactly what I need to do. So I'll take people through an economic model often, and anybody in here done the economic model with me? You have, right? It makes it so simple, right? So you take your net income goal and you minus out your expenses, right? Company dollar and cap is an expense, business expense, and then your GCI, what you're actually taking home, what your actual commission is, and how many transactions to be able to afford that, right? So when I do the economic model, I'm always like, okay, so if I want to make this much, then I need to know how many transactions I need to then go, how many appointments I need. So then I can say, hey, great news, you only need 2 appointments a week, because that's what the math boils down to, right? So if I only need 2 appointments a week, is that way easier than saying I need 54 transactions, right? Because it's digestible, it's easy, it's small, it's little, right? Now, if I need 2 appointments a week, what activities do I have to do to get those appointments, right? And that's some of the daily success stuff that we're going to talk about. We're going to actually tell you what to do to get the appointments, to get the units, to get the money, to go do the big things, right? So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here because I don't love this version of it. I actually like the economic model. I think it's much cleaner. And then it tells you exactly the percentage of your business coming from your list side, from your buy side, how many appointments of each. And then I say, well, how many weeks are you gonna work this year? If you tell me 52, I'm gonna say you're a liar. You're not working 52 weeks because there's birthdays and there's holidays and there's vacation, bless you. And there's sickness and there's kids and there's family emergencies, right? So typically 48 weeks is probably what you're gonna work, 48, maybe 50, if you're, really committed to those numbers, right? Agent called me last night to ask me a question about a negotiation. And he was supposed to be in Breckenridge. And he was like, no, he's like, I canceled the trip. Just said, stay here to sell this house. He's like, I am willing it into existence. He sold the house last night, in case y'all were wondering, but he gave up the trip and the golfing and the other things he was gonna do, which I'm like, why are you, there's no golfing in Breckenridge right now. Now I'm kind of wondering about his story, but whatever. So super important to know where this money is coming from, where this money is going, right? So start tracking everything. You track your dollars in, you track your dollars out. You track your appointments, you track your conversations. You track all of it so you know how long it takes you to get from A to B, okay? And there will be, like I said, today is kind of like the overarching Ignite. We're gonna dig into this stuff with people that are way more entertaining and smarter than I am. So on this section.
I don't know about the entertaining.
I know, I'm the most entertaining person. It's just because I'm nervous. I deflect you from seeing that I'm really sweaty up here. So ahas. There's a lot of stuff that we just kind of briefed over. What are some ahas? And what I'll probably do is, I know all your emails I know y'all. I will probably email you guys some information on how to track some different things, right? Run you through that economic model, make it very easy and digestible so that you know exactly what it's gonna take to hit those those goals, right? All right, anybody else? Okay. So daily success systems. All right, so this is the part that I promised you. And I'm gonna tell you what to do to get the result you wanna get, okay? The goal here is to equip you with the mindset, skills, and tools to secure your first appointment or your 15th appointment or getting back on that 4th appointment, okay? That way you get a successful closing and you put money in your pocket and you stick with the business longer, right? The daily success system, which you're gonna be given, if you've got a long-winded instructor, you're probably gonna get about 30 minutes of it. If you've got a short-winded, you could have an hour and a half. You really should be doing the daily success stuff for like 2 hours a day. So we're gonna guarantee that you've already blocked off 1 hour for it today, tomorrow, the next day. But what are you gonna do later, right? You're not just gonna get there by doing it once, okay? 10 conversations. 10 contacts added to your database. 10 handwritten notes that we'll provide and mail for you. Utilize the 10-5-1 model for social media engagement. Would anybody like to take a gander at what that is?
I'm curious.
You're curious. So glad you're curious. Stay curious, friend. It is 10 comments, 5 direct messages, and 1 post a day.
Where's this at?
It's not in here. I mean, I looked.
I know, it's because they wanted me to say it. It's 10 comments, right? This is how you trick the algorithm of the Facebook and the Instagrams, okay? 10 comments. Go find somebody to go comment something on, right? 5 direct messages to somebody in your Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform you so choose to use for your social media, because whether we like it or not, this is the way we do business these days. And 1 post per day. Now, I'm going to take that a step further with social media. They say you should operate it in the rule of thirds, right? 1/3 personal, 1/3 business, 1/3 charity, kids, whatever else, right? Cool circus stuff, I don't know, right? Circus girl, here we go. I mean that in the most loving way possible. She is gonna be at the circus, guys. She is really cool and awesome. She juggles.
Thank you.
She works really hard at it. Anywho, so every single day, these are the things that you do. And then enrichments will be given with your instructor. They'll give you other little things to do, right? So the cool thing about this is these handwritten cards, I will be at the beginning of every single Ignite, and I'm gonna give you your first set. Once you give them back to me to mail, I'll give you your next set. Because what I don't want to see is your book full of empty cards, right? I like to save turtles and trees, okay? So you're not gonna get a card unless you give it to me, which is also a round of what?
10.
Accountability, right? A little dabble of accountability, right? Because I'm not gonna get in your command. I'm not gonna know if you added 10 people. I'm not gonna eavesdrop on your phone to hear if you communicated with 10 people. It's honor system, guys. Okay, this is really the only thing I can hold on to. And then that way, make sure that it gets mailed out. I'll go put it in the mail for you and you don't pay for postage, right? So what do you think is written on these handwritten cards and who are they written to?
I mean, you can write them to past clients, you can write them to people you've talked to.
Anybody, right?
Yeah, pretty much anybody.
Anybody. Handwritten cards still are a thing. I love getting real mail. I love it. I always read it. I always open it. I will not look at a postcard though, unless it's like a real postcard from an actual person. But a business postcard, I'm just, goes right into my recycling bin because again, I save the turtles and the trees. So this can go for anything. This can be a, hey, I'm Oscar. I did something crazy this year and I got in real estate. You're never gonna believe it. Here's, business cards. Help me, help me. Help me, help you. I don't know. Past clients is great. Anybody you've connected with. I love a handwritten note to anybody you've connected with. So let's say you went door knocking ahead of an open house or something like that, and you had a good conversation with that person. Maybe it didn't go anywhere, but you know their name and you know their address because you knocked on their door, I would say, take a note of that and then write them a handwritten card that day saying, hey, it was so great talking to you. Do you think that's gonna make you different than the last person that knocked on their door? 100% it will. Okay, so handwritten cards are awesome. The Facebook stuff is awesome. You just have to do it and you have to be consistent. That's the whole thing about social media marketing, right? You got to be consistent with it. Otherwise, I think the way that social media marketing works is, you know, the algorithms where you only see certain people, right? You got to break that algorithm and you got to show Facebook that you have meaningful relationships with other people. Like how many people don't ever see what their spouse puts on Facebook? I never do because I never interact on that platform with him, right? So I'm only going to see the things that I'm looking for, right? Like if I like reels, which I do because they're funny, but if I like Facebook reels or something, I'm going to be pushed with more content that Facebook deems that I like. So in order to be in front of more people, this is your little enrichment today, your little nugget on social media marketing. If you want to be in front of more people, you have to do more things. Live videos, boomerang videos, links that you have to click on, all kinds of different things to get in front of more people based on what they like to see. Okay, and the more meaningful relationships that you can build through Facebook are you commenting or are you just liking their photos, right? And then find those people on social media that you're like, hey, whatever happened to Michelle? I haven't seen her in a while, right? Algorithms change. So now I'm gonna go find her and click on her stuff and find something don't go back too far because then that gets really stalkery, but just, 1 or 2 days and find something to post on, right? But don't forget those direct messages, guys, because those are really important. What are some things that we could say in those direct messages?
Hi.
Hey.
I just wanted to remind you that I am a real estate agent.
Right, well, you could. So I'm a big believer of your database is your data bank, right? So I can't withdraw money if it's depleted. So what have I poured in? Am I just calling to check in? Hey, I saw you just had a new baby. Ding, ding, ding. They probably need a bigger house, y'all. So I'm up in there like, hey, oh my gosh, you're having a baby. It's so exciting. Kids are awesome. You want to borrow one of mine? Right? Like whatever. You build a relationship. Okay. All right. When you guys are calling people, don't call people that don't want to be called, please. Please, please don't do it. Okay, there's the do not call list. There's a whole thing in your book. That's all I have to say about that. We do have the access to the do not call list. I'm not quite sure how y'all get it. There's something you got to plug in and then it comes to me. So if you are doing the do not call list, you need to let me know so that I can give you the code. Otherwise, a code just hits me and I'm like, who out of 450 agents needed this code? Because should I just start calling everybody? No, I don't have time for that. So you got to let me know. But read the instructions that Nicole has given you. All right. So let's see. Obviously, powerful conversations gets results, right? When you're generating, when you're trying to get people to do business with you, you've got to uncover their motivation, figure out why they're doing what they're doing. You've got to identify objections. And here's something interesting about objections. When somebody gives you the reason for saying no, is it a condition or is it an objection? A condition is something that I can't, you just heard, I just said this to like 5 people the other day. A condition is something you really can't move. It's a surgery date or a vacation or a kid is graduating from high school. So I can't do anything because of this condition that I can't change. An objection is something that people maybe aren't educated on or have a feeling or that they're wrong about, like interest rates are just too high. Well, I can talk you around that. Get you with the right lender and then interest rate doesn't matter anymore, but the right program, right? So if you say it's too high, well, what interest rate would you buy in? And if I could get you to that interest rate or something close, would it then be worth your time for us to meet? Right? So that's an objection. What's another objection?
I'm gonna wait.
What? You're gonna wait?
I'm gonna wait because the market's gonna crash.
The market's
so-
gonna crash. You know what I say? I was like, what? Where'd you hear that?
I hear that all the time.
Right? Like, no, that's what I tell them. Like, where'd you hear the market was crashing? Because that's news to me and I feel like I should know that. Again, I use comedy because that's comfortable. But then you talk to them about the market and why we're sure that this isn't going to be like 2008 because, well, maybe the federal government got much smarter and that's why things are more expensive now because of inflation and XYZ, whatever you want to say, fill in the blank, right? Not enough houses on the market, is that what you said?
Yes. Oh, no, price of houses.
Price of house is too high. Well, good for you. We have more inventory, more competition now, right? How can I get around that? Right? So that's isolating the no, figuring out exactly what it is and working your way around it and being in the right place at the right time. That's where the consistency factor rolls in. And then close the deal, speak the terms they understand. Don't speak above them. If they don't know what, I wouldn't even know a good example because I don't try to speak above people. I'm pretty right down here. But speak how they understand you, right? And speak to them in the way that they like to be spoken to, right? If they're a texter, by all means, then you're a texter too, right? If they're a face-to-face, whether you like it or not, you better get face-to-face with them, right? It's kind of like mirror matching, right? And then you got to build your confidence. Questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, I don't love these, so we're just gonna skip them. All right, so no, because here's why, I'll tell you why. I don't like these conversations. Did you find everything you were looking for? Yes, thank you, goodbye. Ask an open-ended question that elicits a thought process. I don't want to hear a no. The only yes or no I want to hear is a yes, and it's conditioning them to keep saying yes to me, right? Beautiful weather, isn't it? Yes. Okay, great. You said yes once. How many more yeses until I get the final yes that I really want, right? So I don't like closed-ended questions. I want an open-ended question, and I want it to be something that just kind of breaks the wall, starts to build rapport. Like I'm picking on Cassie because she's right in front of me. We talk every day. Cass, when you go to an open house, what is your opening line when you greet them?
Are you from the neighborhood or you're trying to get into the neighborhood?
Right. So what is she identifying right then and there with that one question?
If they're a neighbor or they're not a neighbor.
Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Are they a neighbor? Is that a listing appointment? Right. So knowing what to say is important, but listening to what they say so you know what your next move is also really important, right? So then she can gear that conversation to whatever it needs to be. How many times have you sat in front of somebody and you had this whole thing prepared to say to them and they were like, no, I'm good. I'm just here to sign the papers. Oh, thank goodness. I don't have to go through my whole whatever I prepared, right? You gotta ask them, figure out where they're at, meet them where their feet are, okay? Anywho, so anybody ever hear of sphere of influence, SOI? Yes. We're almost done, guys. I promise. Look, I'm just like pages away here, pages away. Abby, what's a sphere of influence?
People in your life that you felt connections with, would have been work, school, business.
Yeah.
Your personal network.
Yeah, your personal database, right? Like who does your hair? Who's your mailman? Who does your teeth? I don't know. You get teeth done. I guess they just get cleaned. Just, figure out who your sphere of influence is. Because it's not necessarily like that you're going to get business out of them, their transaction, but who do they know that I need to know, right? Like, Oscar, I loved working with you. It was so great. Or Oscar, you do such a good job cutting my hair. Thank you. I need to work with more yous. That's awful, but something along those lines. So I think you've got a participant guide here. We skipped a lot of stuff, but to answer some questions, like who do you know going through a life event that that leads to a move? Do you guys have that page?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you start, you can write these down, right? Like the answers. Yeah. So think about it. Who do you know going through something? Who just got married? Who just got divorced? Who just got a new job? Who just had a baby? These are all life events that can change what's going on. Write down a name. And then, who do you not know yet? Wait, who does not yet know you're in real estate? That's what it is. They wrote that really weird. But who doesn't know what you all have done? Right? Because the first order of business should have been what? Calling everybody you know, right? 200 contacts, however many people. Hey, guess what I just did? I got into real estate. Or if you've been in the real estate industry for a while, what is something that you've done recently? Hey, I just finished out my first year in real estate, or finished out my first 6 months in real estate, or I went out on my own this year. Like whatever that looks like, you got to tell your story because nobody's going to tell it for you. And they're certainly not going to remember. And it's something I like to call the Dory effect, right? 2 weeks, they forget about you, right? Even if you're really good friends. I've had, nothing infuriates me more than I've been doing real estate for how long, and I see one of my friends, I know my hair just got crazy, didn't it? One of my friends gets on Facebook looking for a great agent, and I'm like, are you serious? I literally post about it every day. I called you 6 months ago. Guess whose fault that is? Mine, right? So of course I was like, girl, it's me. Where you been? Right? I got it. Don't worry about it. But the point is that you don't have time to be trolling on social media and trolling in people's lives all the time, right? So you have to be proactive in your approach to consistently remind them who you are and what you do in a non-pushy way. You just have to be authentic to who you are, right? So what are ways that you can help do this? Calls, adding them to your database so they're on smart plans, handwritten notes, social media engagement, right? These are all ways, but just remember every 2 to 3 weeks they forgot. So guess what? You better show up again. And I highly recommend showing up in different ways, right? Email, text, newsletter, whatever, handwritten card, social media. Use all the tools you have and something will stick and they will call you and it'll be a glorious moment. And you're gonna come to me and I'm like, high five, it's gonna be awesome, okay? But this is important, right? This is where you nurture your sphere. So who's somebody you haven't talked to in the last 2 weeks? Write their name down or their names, because I'm sure there's several. Y'all have been busy. So you've written down somebody who is going through a life event that might lead to a move, somebody who doesn't know you're in real estate, and you've written down somebody you haven't spoken to in 2 weeks. What do you think I want you to do with those 3 names?
Call them.
Oh, yes. Call them, do a handwritten card, do a social media, seek them out. This could be your next deal, right? So I always like to look at it like a $6,000 box, each person, which I don't really like to make people money, but well, hold on, I love to make people money. What I don't like is to take an individual and say, it's just a transaction, right? But nothing speaks more volumes than when you look at your database and you're like $6,000, $6,000, $6,000. And guess what? I didn't reach out. And all I had to do was reach out and let them know, right? Just a thought. So you've got to catch your sphere on the move. So most people will move, relocate, or change something in their lives every 7 to 10 years. If you're a nut job like me, it's more like 5. Okay, so you've got to figure out where they are in this sphere graph. Are they down here? Bless you. Or are they right here? Because if they're right here, you may have missed them already, guys. Right? So I want you to start putting those names in some of these spots on your sheet. Who's recently moved? Who's thinking about moving? And who's somewhere in the middle? Put a name down. Yeah.
So for the social media engagement, is there like time comments on just anybody's?
Yeah. Right. So this is a relationship business, right? So if you have a good relationship with somebody and they know you're in real estate, they may not be your transaction, but they may refer you, right? Like how many times have you interacted with somebody? And you're like, oh yeah, my friend, they do windows or whatever, right? Because everybody wants to be helpful. Right? So when you know more people that do more things, you then become more helpful. And what I love is people who aren't from our area, you still have a sphere, right? So Isaiah, where are you from?
Houston, Texas.
Okay, Houston. So you got a lot of people over there, right? Can you still help them transact in real estate? 100% you can, right? Because you can help refer an agent that's going to take care of them just like you would. You can still dig into their life and see what's going on. And you never know when they move from Texas to here. Right? So I love when somebody's like, I don't have a sphere of influence. And I'm like, baloney, yes, you do. They're just not in this state. Right? And then if you want to build your sphere of the area, start looking at who do I have mutual friends with? And not like 3 guys. Don't be that creeper. I'm like, I got 3 friends with you. I don't even know those 3 friends. So find out who you have lots of different friends with and make agents friends too. Right? So start to grow that. You're late. Maybe everybody, because we're taking pictures of my kid at archery. Remember? I did that in one more session. Okay. So when you're talking about your sphere, have anybody heard of the Ford method? Tell me what the Ford method is.
It's the first thing that you tell them when you talk to them, like ask about the family, ask about the job, ask about what have you done for fun lately and about the dreams.
Yes,
It's a good starter for a conversation.
it's great, especially when you don't know what to say. Does any of this have to do with, hey, I'm a real estate agent and I want your business? None of it, right? Because the Ford method is about relationship building. So this is the part, again, I'm right on time, whether you like to think it or not. This is the part where there's gonna be a little bit of role play and moving around in your seats. You're gonna find somebody, and I am going to say, find somebody that you don't know regularly, okay? Like, you three, you better move. I'm watching. Find somebody, and you're gonna practice the Ford method with them, okay? So there's actual instructions, hold please. All right, so you got a person A and a person B. Person A will ask person B, and then they'll respond. And you repeat this 3 full times by asking different questions. So it's not a full conversation, but it's the questions. What kind of questions, right? So give me some examples of what about a family question? Anybody?
How the kids are doing.
How are your kids doing? All right, my kids are great. Thank you for asking. I'm pretty sure Jax won the archery tournament, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nailing it.
You didn't shoot anybody though, right? Okay. I hadn't got a call from school, so I figured we were all right. How's your family doing? I heard you just had a baby, right? I'm not asking for anything, but I want you and you to get together. You ask a question about family, you ask a question about family, and then move on. Occupation, occupation, all right? Find a person, 10 minutes. You're gonna move around from, like, you're gonna get 3 rounds here and then find somebody. You guys just turn around. That worked out. Look at that.
That's the best part. You never just couldn't jump there.
If you hear a good one, write it down.
Okay, do you know the like center with like I said, my family has got other 2 sisters.
But full wheeling. Yeah, my dad. I did. I started kind of 2 years around that side of it. I don't know. I don't think
So Adam, Brady, trained my husband. Personal trainer.
I've been trying to track you there.
Shot
interested with the human player.
He just got me.
Have to go out to eat or stay? Go out to eat. I don't see. Spend time with
My kids play sports, so my son is really big basketball, so he's on the travel basketball team, like even on my like, wire, I have to like. I've invited all these camps because he's so good, so.
That sounds fun. And I bet
That's what I call it. So, my daughter said just not to try, just making, you know, friends.
That makes sense. Like, my wife and I just went on vacation and watched documentary. No. I know these guys do certain
She just got me. So yeah, so oh wow, that was my first time like it's already because right now I kind of work with owners.
Don't build up the trash.
much as I.
I have a lot of dreams. Nobody wanted to hear apparently. We have an 8-year-old boy, so my friends and family are
Hopefully a lot more than I told myself. So I never want to make myself back.
Yeah, unfortunately, my kids.
Well, you know, I find myself.
My dad is in love, so we all, I was born in California.
Anything that is
So my sons are so my youngest son, he moved like here, done help out.
freaked out and all that. Chills out after a while. You just gotta put your, you know, I just gotta break down.
Basically, all the sons and grandkids from St. Joe.
Like financial.
And I know that you're at home.
Yeah, so getting her up and going is definitely. I love it. Oh, yeah.
He tells me that I don't.
He's fully successful based on my referrals, so I really haven't had to.
And now you're busy.
Yeah, none of my kids are kids. Man, it's just like, I Googled it one day. St. Joseph, State Farm. I got to read about it.
We actually are trying to figure out the vacation.
Like you said.
Right now, you know, my bones still saying that I want to have it. Right before we Actually, I got a lot of garage I've lived in that for years. Because there's places around here like Southern Missouri, off the ranch like that. I mean, it's just kind of.
I love it though.
Put out launch and y'all definitely like that. No, my body's right back here. I mean, it's.
Which I
Notice it broke my foot. I was 58, and so I don't think it's just struggling back in the year. I got my own.
I got anything.
So why is it important to practice those conversations?
Great conversation starters.
They are, right? It breaks down the wall and it's like, hey, human to human here. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just asking about you, right? as you get into real estate, those who conversation practice more than others have another level of confidence when they are talking to people. It makes it so much easier when you already know what to say, because then you can just listen, right? Because you're not thinking very quickly, ooh, what do I need to say next? How do I combat this, right? All right, so that was today's session. What do y'all think? Did we do okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Good stuff? Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so next week, tomorrow is Embrace Your Job, right? Same time, same place, different person. I will be here tomorrow with your handwritten cards. And don't forget, tomorrow starts the 10 conversations, 10 people to the database, the marketing, and the handwritten cards, right? Yeah, those 4 things. And then whatever your speaker tomorrow.
What did you say we had to do in order to get the handwritten cards?
Give me them. So once I give you your first set,
Oh.
you get your next set
Okay.
when you give me yours.
And that starts tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow. Here's the deal, guys. It's supposed to be 10 a day. We have 20 days. Anybody want to do math?
It's a lot.
200.
Yeah.
I can't count that high.
Right, you better be able to get them toes out. But right, so it's not just I did it once or I did it for the week. I contacted 20 people, so I'm done. It's no, 2-way conversation, 10 a day. 2-way conversation, handwritten note, 10 a day. The direct messages, wasn't that the 10? 10 direct messages. That is a lot of outsourcing, a lot of peopling. So buckle up, okay? That's why we gave you most of the Fridays off. Okay? All right. Anybody need anything else? I will see you all tomorrow. Again, instructors should be about 2 hours of content, maybe a little bit less, and then you'll have an hour of these daily success systems. And they'll give you little nuggets of really good stuff along the way. All right. Thank you.
I'm going to the gift board.